Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Rico back at it again. It's Friday night. Y'all know how we do. I can't do this by myself, man. I can't do this by myself. I got to bring some people on with me. We've come a long way at BF, right? We've come a long way, and Friday nights is the Rico night. But guess I can't do this by myself. There's too much information. There's too much stuff going on right now. I gotta introduce the boys to come through with me. I got my man Z-Bot.
Hey, it's Friday night up in here, baby. What's up, everyone?
I can't just bring Z-Bot on. I can't. Z-Bot, I mean, listen, Z-Bot's going to get into it. But I got to bring my guy, the Rev. What up?
Yo, what's poppin'? What up, everybody? Let's do it Friday night, baby.
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Pod Squad BF repping right now. We got lots of things to talk about. I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited. I'm excited to get things popping. So without further ado, man, let's get to it, folks. I'm going to get right to the drama. Let's get right to it. Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland mother effer Browns. They've traded for Deshaun Watson. Now,
Rico, right off the bat, of course, I'm guessing you're jealous, right? That's your boy. Deshaun's your guy, Rico. Don't you remember?
I'm a big fan of Deshaun Watson, and a lot of people are going to be like, you said you'd pick him over Josh Allen. This was a year and a half ago, folks. Josh Allen has become a beast. He's on the same level as Deshaun Watson. They're neck to neck. They're that talented, right? And I'm glad that we got Josh Allen on our squad. There's no question about it. But my goodness, how do you guys feel about this Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns? And they still got Baker Mayfield on their roster. What the F? Listen, man. I'm gonna go to the Rev. Rev, talk to me, man. How you feeling about this?
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, the AFC is getting a little crowded for me right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I was good. Like I was thinking he was gonna go to Atlanta or something. Like NFC, I'm straight. But man, Deshaun Watson in the AFC, like if we weren't already loaded enough as it is, it's going to be a freaking gauntlet to get out of the AFC, man. And I'm down for the competition. You know what I'm saying? But yo, we better come with it this year.
Oh, and listen, we play the Browns this year. So it's not like we're avoiding them. But my goodness, Z-Bot, what's the word, man?
I got to tell you, man, I can't believe it. I was fully convinced Deshaun Watson was going to the NFC. I thought he was going to go to Atlanta. He's from there. It seemed like that's where he was leaning. There were a lot of leaks coming out yesterday that were indicating he was going to wind up going to Atlanta. I also thought that the New Orleans Saints would have been a good fit for him. I thought that transitioning from Drew Brees, bringing in Deshaun Watson for a team that has a decent amount of talent, just missing a QB right now, thought that made sense. I was not anticipating the AFC because yesterday the Browns were in the mix until they weren't, right? Yesterday was a fiasco, right? Because Baker Mayfield comes out with this letter. Nothing's even been moved yet in regards to Baker or Deshaun Watson. He writes essentially a farewell letter to the Cleveland Browns fans. Then they say that they're in the play for Deshaun Watson. Then they say they're not. Then Baker asks for a trade. Then Cleveland denies the trade, all for 24 hours later, just to have it happen to be everything they said that wasn't going to happen. So he is a Cleveland Brown. He is making an absurd amount of guaranteed money. Crazy, and the irony here is the word that came out of the Cleveland Browns organization was they wanted to transition from Baker Mayfield to a grown-up at quarterback. Well, I'm not exactly sure how much of a grown-up Deshaun Watson is, not necessarily even to do with all the BS he's dealing with off the field, but he also cried his way out of Houston prior to all of these accusations coming out. So to me, man, I mean, the Browns are a better team today, no question, but they looked desperate in this move. They gave up an insane amount of draft capital, an insane amount of guaranteed money for a guy who still has 22 pending civil lawsuits against him. We don't even know if he's going to face suspension this year. And from what I saw, even if he does wind up getting suspended, the fine per game is only like $50,000. He gets all that money up front. So it's wild, Rico, to say the least. I wasn't expecting it at all.
He's writing checks. And I mean, you spoke on the compensation and what was presented as a deal. First of all, rough buff, $230 million guaranteed.
It's
The
wild.
next best,
Insane,
what was it like?
Man.
Was it Aaron Rodgers with 150 million guaranteed? You got Josh Allen with 150, $230 million. There was a list of the top paid quarterbacks and the highest contracts they've ever received. There's 6 of them. Deshaun Watson is on that list with both. He had the 6th most, and then he's got $230 million guaranteed. Now, get this. So the Texans, and for those that are living under a rock and not knowing what has happened, the Texans have officially traded Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns, and here's what they get in return. So the Browns get in return a 2022 first-round pick, a 2023 first-round pick, a 2024 first-round pick, a 2023 third-round pick, and a 2024 fourth-round pick. And the and the Cleveland Browns, they received Deshaun Watson and a 2024 fifth-round pick. What a blockbuster trade. Now, here's the question for both of y'all, man. Do the Cleveland, the AFC North is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch Trubisky goes over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he'll have some success over there. I think that he'll acclimate himself. He's got a really good head coach over there. They got a good squad. TJ Watt on that defensive side of the ball. They're going to be nice. You got Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. Baltimore is getting healthy. They got so many offensive injuries last year. They're only going to get better. And then you got Cleveland with Deshaun. And then you got Jared over there in Bengals. Oh, listen. Can y'all believe Nick Chubb? Listen, Nick Chubb, David Njoku, freaking Amari Cooper, Deshaun Watson. Yo, Cleveland is going to be a problem, man. What do you do with Baker Mayfield? Where does he go? Zach, talk to me. Where do you see Baker Mayfield going?
Baker Mayfield's going to be an Indianapolis Colt by the end of next week. I guarantee it. So he's going to stick into the AFC as well. And it's not like Baker is overwhelmingly bad. I mean, he's a serviceable starting quarterback, especially for the likes of the Cleveland Browns, who couldn't make the playoffs for just about as long, if not longer, than the Bills had up until they had broken the drought. So listen, Baker Mayfield's still a starter in this league. If Mitch Trubisky can start, if Carson Wentz can continue to start, I think Baker Mayfield continues to start. As of right now, the Indianapolis Colts are quarterbackless, and it's going to be between Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo. I got a feeling that the Colts are going to want to go younger in that department. I see him sticking in the AFC. They're immediately going to be moving off of him in the next coming days for sure. And it'll be interesting because I think he sticks within the conference. But the Cleveland Browns today have immediately become a top tier contender. Everybody forgets because they have underperformed dramatically the last couple of seasons. Their roster is easily a top 7 or 8 in the league. They're just stacked. And you bring in Deshaun Watson, who, I mean, it's easy to forget taking a year off how incredibly gifted this guy is at the position. I mean, today it's tough to think that they're not going to be right in the mix with a guy like Deshaun Watson leading that roster. And as far as Baker Mayfield's concerned, I mean, it's wild to see how it all panned out, but it was inevitable. The writing was on the wall for about a year or two now with Baker Mayfield, and here we go. But I never in my wildest dreams, Rico, thought it was going to wind up ending like this, where Deshaun Watson winds up being his replacement.
So, we're going to stick on this. I mean, I'm well played out, by the way. Listen, he's got a new computer, folks. He's feeling refreshed right now. His takes are hot.
It's a Friday night, man. Enrico, listen, I'm feeling it because, I'm hanging out with people virtually tonight. Rico called me. I'm over here playing on the computer on a Friday night. So for anybody who thinks I got a life, Rico messages me. He goes, I know damn well you're not doing anything, but dust that mic off. I go, I'm there. I'm fired up. I had no plans, and now here we are talking football. So that
here we are. So we're going to stick on Baker Mayfield because I guess I have sentiments, right? And I feel bad for Baker, man. I feel like he's been done dirty. Rev, you feel he's been done dirty, or this is part of the game? Grow up, deal with it.
I'm kind of torn, because I'm an OU fan. All right, so I like Baker coming out. I really did. I thought he was a dynamic quarterback in college, and I thought he could really come in the NFL and do some things. It was unfortunate, by him being in Cleveland. I mean, I think the system in Cleveland really just didn't really fit his skill set a lot. But nevertheless, I mean, he kind of put a lot of it on himself. And so, am I shocked Yeah, I'm definitely shocked, especially with Deshaun Watson coming there. But I think Baker Mayfield and Bot, I like how you said if Trubisky can get a job, if Wentz can get a job, then look, Baker Mayfield is not a bad quarterback. I still think that Baker is still a very, very good starting level quarterback in this league. He just needs to be in the right system and get a brand new slate, a brand new start, right? I like the idea with going to the Colts. I think that's a great fit for him. They've got some weapons in Indy too, and so I think just Baker just getting a clean start. I think you will see a rejuvenated Baker Mayfield, and he's going to do some things. And I'm excited about that. But, man, Deshaun Watson going to Cleveland, guys, I can't get off of that because that talent on that roster is ridiculous. I mean, we saw what Watson did in Houston with almost like no talent whatsoever. I mean, outside of Hopkins, right? But you put him on that squad right now with who we got, Amari Cooper, and then we got, man, he's handing the ball off to Chubb, and you've got Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's a very underrated receiver, and Njoku. They've got talent, man. And so this is going to be – I'm excited all the way around. I can't wait for the Bills and the Browns to match up this year.
If you're an NFL fan, forget about what team you root for. If you're an NFL fan, this is exciting. You every game is Blockbuster. Get your popcorn because it's going to be fun to watch. Now, I know Z-Bot was like, I see him with the Colts, and the Colts seems like the perfect fit. But I'm looking at the Saints. The Saints could be involved in this whole situation. Who's quarterbacking for them over there, right? We don't know what's going on with the Saints. I'm going over the freaking Carolina. I mean, look at the teams that were interested in doing something for
If you really truly feel bad for Baker Mayfield, Rico, then that's the last place you want him going. I'm telling you. That is just that would just be the most fitting end to this whole story is for him to go to replace Sam Darnold, you know?
that would be something. Now, I will say this though. The NFL is shaping up. This whole NFL is shaping up to be crazy. We're gonna switch over to NFC because AFC we're gonna talk about it because we have our own team to talk about. But let's switch over to the NFC. Green Bay Packers. The whole summer, the whole winter, if you will. We don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. I'm immunized is what he lied to the world, if you will, or he omitted some information. And then he holds the team hostage for a little bit. And then he gets a monster deal. We're thinking that he's going to be reunited with his old team and they're going to run it back again. And Davante Adams is like, hold up, wait a minute. We're not doing this shit. I'm going to, holy crap, he got traded to the Raiders. The Raiders with Davante Adams? With Josh Jacobs, Derek Carr, Darren Waller. What's going on in the NFL?
And they're still the fourth best team in the division.
You're right, exactly. Yeah,
insane.
That's what's crazy to think about.
It's insane to me. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but I got to read this super chat coming from my man B Sully. B Sully comes and says, "Hey, the Rev Rose, welcome to the best Bills Mafia YouTube podcast in town. Keep doing your thing." They gave him my man.
Yeah, B Sully. Much love, baby. Much love.
Shout out to my man B Sully. So we got to talk about it, man. Davante Adams to the freaking Raiders. The Raiders, the AFC West. How bonkers is that?
Jeez. Man,
that's
sick, man. I don't even know where to start with that, man, right? Because the West just keeps getting better and better and better and better. And I actually didn't think Davante. I didn't think that was going to happen, right? I thought when Aaron Rodgers decided to come back, I thought he was coming back because his boy is going to be right there. Right? I thought Davante was going to be right there and they're going to run it back. But then you hear whispers that, hey, Davante Adams is going to the Raiders. I'm like, are you serious? What? Hold up. I couldn't, you know, I was taken back because I'm like, wait a minute, that's there may be something under the surface there that we probably are not hearing a whole lot about. You know, like why would Davante Adams want to leave Green Bay when his boy was there to go to a new spot? Now, granted, I mean, he's got a lot of reasons, right? All that money, right? You know, but man, I mean, Derek, you leaving Rodgers to go to Derek Carr. I don't know about all that, but still, man, that's crazy.
Well, I'm looking at this team, and I mean, you guys always hear it. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Is the grass nice and green in Las Vegas, in Nevada? Z-Bot, are you buying this? Is this going to work?
I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. This is the most shocking signing of the free agency period by a landslide. And I was
really
blown off my chair when I saw Von Miller go to the Bills. Absolutely. Everybody in the world thought Davante Adams was at the very minimum going to get the franchise tag to come back with Rodgers as soon as he re-signed. Now the whole Rodgers signing is a head scratcher to me. The whole reason you restructured his deal, made him the highest paid quarterback in history, and brought him back to Green Bay was to continue to pursue a championship that we've talked about before. They have just not been able to get to remotely close. Even they've choked every single time they've gotten in the playoffs for the last several seasons. They are a much worse offense today without Davante Adams. They do not have a bona fide one now. He's the best wide receiver in the league. And when you have that guy on your team, he commands so much from the opposing defense that you have. You can't factor in everybody else on the team. Now you take that away. Listen, the Packers are lucky that the NFC is just a wasteland. The crappiest thing of this all, though, is Tom Brady is going to walk to an NFC championship this year. He is going to walk to an NFC championship this year. And now you remove Davante Adams as somebody that he doesn't have to face. Oh, man. It's incredible. And that's the one thing I take away from this whole thing is the path for the Buccaneers to get back to the Super Bowl is literally flat compared to the Everest-sized mountain that somebody in the AFC is going to have to climb. But I'm absolutely stunned. And the fact that he said it was his dream to be a Raider.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what that was. I've seen it all, man. I have no clue. You figured your dream would be to catch balls from perhaps, Rodgers,
Hall of Famer,
second or third best ever. I don't know. Makes you wonder what was really going on in that locker room and where Davante his head was really at,
Exactly, bro. That's exactly what I'm thinking, man. There had to have been something going on underneath the surface that we really can't, that we just don't know about. I mean, because that's a head scratcher for me.
Listen, the only thing I'm head scratching is how the heck are you going to find a division winner on that one? That's a head scratcher for me, yo. Good luck in the AFC West because that thing is going to be a gauntlet. I don't know who's going to come out of that thing, which makes it more important. Now, before I even get into that, I got to give a shout out to our guy, P Money, Pierre the Kingpin says, he says, drinking while watching my guys who's with me. So are y'all sipping on anything over there? I see Rev sipping on that. He's sipping on that water. You sipping on agua.
I got the agua, man. I didn't have no time.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Hey, listen, man, we're about to jump into what really matters, and it's the Buffalo Bills. By the way, Kyle Webster says, Tom Brady said in his tweet, he's coming back, but not now. Watch Brady ain't coming back this season. Nah, he coming. He's staying. I don't know what my man's talking about, but Brady is coming back, my G. I don't know where you been, Kyle Roberts.
He's back.
Brady's coming back, and he's back. Ain't going. I think he might play another couple years if you really think
man.
about it.
Yeah, with that path, yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. So let's talk some Buffalo Bills football because that is what is pressing right now. And before we do, we got to get to a super chat from my man Silas Whittle. What up, Silas? He goes, good evening, gents. I'm enjoying all these other AFC teams making this big moves for the second place in the conference. You see the new Abby Triple B is a boss. He's got the do-rag on and he's got the sunglasses. Is he got a cigarette in his mouth? There you go. He's smoking that pack. So here's the deal, folks. I'm looking at this first of all, kudos to Brandon Beane.
Yes.
Beane is realizing what's happening.
Ring that bell for Beane.
Listen, let me
no doubt.
Let me ring that mother effing bell for
yeah.
Beane. So Brandon Beane is realizing what's happening around the league, right? So 2 years straight, we get bounced by the Kansas City Chiefs, and 2 years straight, we already know how the game ended, but there were things that we lacked that game. And what we lacked that game is to bring down, who, Pat Mahomes. Yes. Bring him down, corral him, bottle him up. You name every adjective that you can think of. You name it. Try to do that for him. But we've just been failing. So you look over west and you go to the Chargers. You see Max Crosby. You see Chandler Jones. You know what I'm saying? They're ready to mount up and go after Pat Mahomes, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
You don't have to go too far. You go to the LA Chargers. You got Khalil Mack and Bosa. For crying out loud. They're dialing up to take down Pat Mahomes. And it's sad, but it's what's the word I want to look for? It's endearing because Pat Mahomes is sitting there look at y'all, man. Y'all trying to, mount up to try to come get me. So Beane is like, hold on a second. We played y'all twice, and your own division is mounting up for you. Why can't I? You know what? Chandler Jones be damned. Get me Von Miller. Now, Z-Bot, where was your punk ass sitting? You found out.
You ready for this one? I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting to share this.
Where was your punk ass sitting when you found out that we signed Von Miller?
Yo, it's so funny you say that because I got boned when this shit dropped, right? So I was at my sister's lacrosse game. Caroline was in town, Rico. My girlfriend was up in town, and we had just hit my sister's lacrosse game. We're on our way to get something to eat. Now, nothing pisses my girlfriend off more than when I'm on the scroll, man. When I got the head in the
I'm going to tell you a story about that too.
Oh, yeah. So nothing pisses her off more because she just thinks I'm on a whole other world, which I am when I'm doing that, right? So, dude, we're pulling into the restaurant. Now, mind you, this is like her last night here. And my girlfriend, for those who don't know, why would you? She lives 6 hours away. So, you know, it's not like I'm seeing her tomorrow. It's going to be a bit, right? We pull into the restaurant, man, and there it is. There it is. Von Miller to the Bills across my phone. I go, you're going to need to give me 10. You're going to need to give me 10 while we're ordering. I got to get a fat scroll going. So that's where I was. I'm walking into the restaurant. I'm like, I want to go talk to people at the bar because obviously, like where I'm at in Rochester, it's affecting most people who are there watching college basketball at the bar. They're Bills fans, I would say. I would venture it was a good guess. I was just so amped up. And then the OJ Howard hit, and I'm just like, wait a damn minute. I'm just like, wait a minute. And then the I don't know, man. I was just stunned. I couldn't believe it, but it was hilarious because I had to really I had to be an adult, which is tough for me to do, and put the phone aside after a bit and enjoy the dinner until I can get it back home and really dive into it again. So
and you're having dinner, but your mind isn't there.
No, it was not.
No way.
My mind was thinking about that edge rush. My mind was thinking about that Lombardi. It was all kind of. Plus, you know me, Rico. I'm always like, gotta have it, guy. So I'm like, man, I'm on NFL Shop waiting for the Von Miller jersey to drop too on top of it. So I'm like, I'm all over the damn place. So it was great though. It was a great feeling.
I'm gonna bring it over to Rev. Rev, where were you? What were you doing? Who were you talking to? How was it? Or were you just by yourself and you just happened to be scrolling? What happened?
No, fam. All right, so you know I was out of town. I was on vacay with the fam.
That's right.
Yeah. So we were down in San Antonio, man, spending some time down there in Six Flags and SeaWorld and stuff. So I think we got back to the house, and man, I'm tired. And here's the thing: I had just tweeted and I'm gonna be honest. I did one of those low key angry tweets where you're like, all right, yo, Beane ain't doing nothing. Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like, right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, we missed out on Chandler Jones because that was one of my on my mamas, right? And so I'm like, yo, we missed out on Chandler Jones, and he's sitting there, he ain't doing nothing. I put that tweet out, and no sooner as I put it out,
boom,
here comes the news.
You hit us with the reverse jinx, Rev. We got to give you all the credit in the world, man. There it is.
I must have manifested it somehow. I don't know, man, but I was like, are you serious? I was like numb. I couldn't even really have the right reaction because I'm like, this ain't true.
Because you're sitting there like, shit, I just shitted on Brandon Beane.
I did. For real. I'm like, yo, right. And I'm checking the tweet, right? Making sure that this is an official Mark's tweet, right? Like, cause I'm not gonna get got by sharing this by retweeting. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wait, hold on a second. I had to wait for a minute, man. And then when it finally hit, I'm like, oh my God, we just got Von Miller. Like Von Miller, like this is a guy I've wanted for a while now, but I'm like, dude, we got Von Miller. I'm sitting here sharing it to everybody I know. I'm like, yo, we just got them. Like I was like out of it once I found out it was legit.
We were all excited for this Von Miller thing. So I'm sitting here listening. You know me, I'm scrolling. I mean, listen, look how good this looks.
Oh,
dude, that's sick,
Miller
man.
in a Bills uniform. Are you kidding me? God,
dude, it's gonna be nasty, man.
So wifey is always on my ass. Like, yo, like, what could you put? Her question to me almost every day. What could you potentially be talking about now? There's no season. Like, what is there to talk about? Why do you always on your? So I'm like, yo, I'm just looking. I mean, right now there's free agency period, man. Like, there's a lot of things going on right now. We've been a little slow, but we're waiting for it. So I'm talking to her, right? We're talking about because my mom is here visiting right now, and we're like, okay, so what are we?
Oh no.
And I'm trying to balance all this. She's, what are the plans for the weekend? Here's what I think we should do. And then I'm scrolling through and I'm listening to it, right? And she knows that I do this, but I'm talking. I can kind of do the both. And I see Von Miller to the Bills in the group chat. I say, yo, who's fucking with me right now? Don't play with me today. I'm not weird for that. So I don't even acknowledge the chat. I go right to the timeline, scrolling through the timeline, and I see Von Miller. So I'm still paying attention. She doesn't realize I'm not paying attention until I saw 6 years, 120. I said, what? I'm sitting there, and she's like, okay, are you going to sit here and not pay attention to me? I was like, hold on. This man just signed for 6 years, 120 million. She's like, I don't. And she doesn't care for that type of stuff. I'm sitting here, girl, you got to chill for a second. Like Z-Bot said, give me 10.
I know, give me 10.
I need to see what's happening. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, man, Von Miller to the Bills is fairly big. It's fairly big. So
that's huge.
What does it do for this defense, though? Like, sometimes when you can bring all these new personalities and stuff, but it doesn't gel. Do you feel that this is a gelling piece? Is this the piece that brings us over the top? It has to be, doesn't it? Rev, talk to me.
Yes, man. 1000%, man. Like Von Miller. I mean, just like talent aside. I mean, you look at this guy's character. You look at what he's done in the league. You look at his standing in the league. Man, this guy is well respected across the NFL. And so when we had it, let's just be honest. I had no idea that Beane was working this. I had no idea that he was even in the conversation. Okay. And so when we get a guy like that, when we get the chance to get a fish like this, like you got to go for it. And is it me, or is this like bigger than Mario Williams? Like this was like, to me, it feels a little bigger than Mario. Well, I don't know, because I mean, Mario, like we were trash.
Thank you.
I guess catching Mario was like, whoa,
you had to catch yourself on that one.
Yeah. I was like, wait.
I think it's bigger for probably a different reason, though, Rev. You're on the right track, but it's bigger because we can actually win now, right? Mario Williams was going to bring.
Yeah, that was just a waste, right? Yeah, that was a waste. But this guy, when you put him on the line, guys, he's going to upgrade the entire defensive line.
Yes.
Groot is going to get better, right? Basham is going to get better. We're going to see what's going to happen out of Epinesa. But now you've got Oliver, who's going to look to his right or his left. He's like, oh my gosh, I got this dog here. And then when you listen to what he said, he's like, Von Miller was like, I've always had a stout defensive tackle next to me my entire career. I've always had it. And he's looking at Oliver. He's like, I've got Oliver here. Like that helped seal the deal for him. Like he's like looking at this guy. He's like, like we have a chance to be a dominant D line. And that's what I think the defense was really missing this entire time. Now, granted, we're going to talk about cornerback, I'm sure, but the defensive line has not been dominant in a long time. You plug in Von Miller along with Ed Oliver, with the young Groot, and then now you've got the big fat hog mollies inside with Daquan Jones and Tim Settle. Hey. Guys, we are about to unleash the dogs, man. I'm excited about it.
Now, here's my question for Z-Bot. Z-Bot, when you're looking at this defensive front and you're seeing everybody that we brought in, who benefits the most out of these guys? Who do you feel benefits the most?
Man, Greg Rousseau, by far, yes, no doubt. This is my first chance I've had to speak on the Von trade.
We'll talk about it.
So, I mean, I just got a million things. There's just so much that goes into this, and I think that there's two sides to it, right? And there's people that are looking at it differently. The first thing that comes to mind for me, and this is what I think stands out the most about signing Von Miller. The Buffalo Bills are on the A list of free agent destinations. Von Miller willingly left a team in Los Angeles, California, perhaps the most gorgeous city in the country, the most popular city in the country outside of New York City, perhaps. They just won a Super Bowl. They have a stacked roster. He was willing to leave that. Now think about the difference between Los Angeles, California, and Buffalo, New York. And I love my Buffalo more than anybody. Those aren't two comparable cities. And he willingly left that city just off a championship to go to Buffalo because he wanted to be a part of that culture and he wanted to pursue a championship. These are territories that we're entering in that I never thought I'd see in my life. You used to have to overpay on their way out the door veterans to even get them to consider moving to Buffalo. And now you got guys who want to come be a part of what they got going on with Josh Allen, what McBean is building. It's incredible. That was my first initial thought. This guy chose to be here. This is a first ballot Hall of Famer who still got tread on the wheels. And we saw it. He was a big factor in those playoffs for the Rams, and he's willingly coming to Buffalo. That, to me, in itself is a massive testament as to why this is such a big signing. It shows you how far the Bills have come. In one signing, it shows you who the Bills are. And for many people, if you're as young as me, you just never thought it would be the case. And here we are. Now you're also bringing in a guy who is an immediate leader. He's an immediate veteran presence who comes off of a Super Bowl with a lot of young guys up on that line. Rico, you and I were just hashing it out last week. This line is so interchangeable, right? Well, the whole thing has gotten a complete facelift. It is a different defense. I mean, it's incredible. From the front line to the middle of the field, it's a completely different look right now. Bringing back veterans, whole thing feels like an absolute pursuit to a championship. Do I think Von Miller is the single sole piece that gets it over the top? I don't even know if I'd say that. But I think the sentiment that I am seeing being formed right now from Beane, bringing in these guys, you can fully tell he's all in. He's understanding that window isn't going to be open forever. So I think Von Miller, in addition to the other pickups that Beane has made, it is forming into a clear cut motive, and that is we are Super Bowl or bust this year. And I think Von Miller is a massive part of that. Massive part.
And Rico, let me just piggyback off what Bot said, because I don't know if a lot of you guys really caught what just happened here. What he just said, he willingly chose to leave the Rams.
I can't get over it.
Fresh off of a Super Bowl championship.
Yeah,
with Aaron Donald next to him. Hall of Famer, arguably one of the best defensive players in the history of the NFL. He said he willingly chose, and I like how candid he was, because he was like, "Yo, this was a tough decision because you're in LA, right? You're in LA, and then I'm looking and I've got Aaron Donald here. We just won a Super Bowl." He said the only thing that was going to get me out of here is it had to be the right situation, and it was Buffalo. Like. That is mind. But I'm still trying to figure out how. I get it. I know you've got 120 million reasons why, right? But still,
I was about to say,
why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why though?
But that's the other side of the coin, though, right? Yeah. Because there's no way he's sniffing that money. People got to realize that when you get down,
he's not.
Paying, I think it's fine.
Hold on, gentlemen. Are you meaning to tell me that yes, he's not going to sniff the 120 million, but did we overpay for Von Miller? And that's the question I have for you guys, right? 51 million guaranteed, 32 million signing bonus. He's going to be paid $50 million at age 32, you know what I'm saying, for the next 3 years. Did we overpay for this?
I think a little bit. I think you've got to, though, right? I mean, if you want that type of talent, you got to be willing to say, hey, just write a blank check. Like whatever it costs to get this guy in here, because we talked about it earlier in the show. You look at the West, you've got to compete with those guys. All of those teams just in the West, they all have at least 2 elite pass rushers.
Yes,
and so we have to get that. And so if it costs $53 million, whatever it takes, just get them here.
And here's the thing,
everybody's shelling money, Rico. Everybody.
And they are. And the reason I brought that up is because I agree. Did we overpay? No. And I'll tell you why we didn't overpay. Because when you you guys elated on that anyway, but when you bring someone on like that, that money is almost, although it's going to one person, but you have experience that comes to this line. Greg Rousseau is going to be soaking up all the knowledge. So all that money you pay to one guy, but you really are paying for the knowledge, right? So all your other guys can benefit off of Von Miller. DT, freaking Ed Oliver coming in, Jordan Phillips, Tim Settle, freaking Greg Rousseau, Greg Basham on the inside. Everyone's gonna be soaking up the knowledge from this Von Miller, and fresh off a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls at that on 2 different teams. He's gonna give you. This is the vibe that I'm feeling. This is the vibe that I got. If you guys think you're gonna dog out, you're not. You better bring it. Now, here's my thing that's gonna annoy the heck out of me. Is Brandon Beane gonna allow Coach McDermott to say, all right, guys, you're going to get 25 plays. You're going to get 25. You're going to have 40 because I paid you a lot of money. don't you just you just paid $50 million. Are you going to get this guy to pay 50, 60, like 60% snaps? Or are you going to let this guy stay on the field? This is what I'm interested in, because you don't pay someone all that money to allow him to rotate constantly. I'm going to be very much paying attention to that. Now, before we get into our next topic, I got to get to a super chat from our guy, Mr. Jeff King.
Hey,
super chat to my guy, comes in with $100 super chat. He comes and say, gonna see a whole new meaning to the word production out of this defense this year. Beane did a great job setting this team up for success. Let's effing go. Shout out to my guy, Jeff King. Proud of you, my man. We're gonna chop it up. We got things to talk about. But fam, this is something else, man. This defensive line, I mean, we got Greg Rousseau, Basham, Von Miller on the edge, and AJ Epinesa. They're your edge.
You know, everybody on that line, Rico, I just saw a tweet the other day. Everybody's a first or second round pick. Who the hell would have thought that? I mean, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
Which puts more pressure on this defense to freaking now you all were chosen quite high in anywhere that you've been, right? You got drafted. We wanted a lot out of you. Now you have an opportunity to all be together on one. You're not playing next to a 7th rounder. You're playing next to a 1st rounder, damn it. So I need to see something out of you guys. So to me, big things are coming for Buffalo. That defensive front really did his thing. Brandon Beane, shout out to you. Kudos to you. So JD Mckissic. Have you guys seen the new developments on this JD McKissic story? So it turns out JD Mckissic never got an offer from Washington, which is fine. So he came over and was like, well, nobody's going to offer me, and Buffalo's the only one that offered me something. So you know what? I'll sign that deal, or I'll preemptively sign that deal. And then when it's time for me to sign, I'll do it. Turns out that maybe public pressure. I'm not sure what exactly happened. So turns out that he U-turned it and went back. But his agents were like, nobody ever said anything to us, man. Nobody said anything. So that's why we went over there. And Washington's like, whoa, we never wanted to do anything. We wanted to sign this guy. And there's a whole big kerfuffle going on. I wanted to use that word, kerfuffle. There's a whole big kerfuffle happening right now. Was it a good idea for us to bring JD McKissic? Is this a blessing in disguise that JD McKissic has returned to Washington? Z-Bot, let's start with you.
No, I don't think so. I would have loved to have had him. I really would have, because I think that he would have brought something to the offense that we don't necessarily have an abundance at right now, and that's pass catching out of the backfield. I think that would have been a big upgrade for us. Then again, I mean, it wasn't like it was going to be the overwhelming, factor in pushing this offense to another level. I don't believe that. I think we could have utilized him in a proper way that would have been effective, but I don't necessarily think that he was going to be some world beater that was going to propel this offense to, kingdom come. But to his whole story here, I mean, I get it from a human level, right? Some people have different motives in life, I guess. Some it's money, some it's, success, whatever. Some people just like being in a certain environment. And I got to imagine he really wanted to be in Washington if he was willing to go back. All that's going on in Buffalo right now, to not want to be a part of that, to not want to probably go and get a significant amount of snaps for this team, he would have been a major role. So you got to think that his heart was really in Washington. So I guess to answer your question, Rico, the fact that he chose not to come to Buffalo is probably beneficial in the fact that it clearly didn't seem like his heart was entirely in it. He was only going to Buffalo because it seemed like it was his only option. I guess, in a roundabout way, Rico, to answer your question, it probably is best that he chose to go back there because that's what he wanted to do. And credit to him for not going to Buffalo just for the sake of going. He went and did what he wanted to do. That's the beauty of free agency. So to anybody dogging McKissic out there, by the way, it's not necessary. I don't think it's deserved. I think that when it comes to this game, these guys don't get much of a say or choice in anything. And if he really wanted to be in Washington and that's where he's going to decide to go, then it's probably best for him. It's probably best for the Bills.
That's a great point, man. Shout out to my man, Scott Blakely. What up, Scott? From the Chi-Town. He says, hey, let's be honest, guys. It only took Big Baller Beane 18 seconds to make this decision. Great discussion, guys. Thank you for not saying 13 seconds, man. I appreciate that. You did it on purpose, Scott Blakely. You clever son of a bee. But I'm actually in on this JD McKissic. I loved the signing. I wasn't like, oh my God, it's amazing. I think it was a solid signing. I thought this is going to be a big piece of this team. But I'm not mad that he decided to turn things around. I mean, like you said, Z-Bot, don't be mad at the guy. You know what I'm saying? You don't get many chances to make this opportunity and stay somewhere you're comfortable. Number one, maybe he's not a guy that likes to move around. He likes things unison. I just like to be one place, and that's what it is. And so be it. He decided to go back. He wants to go back up. Gibson over there, and whoever the Carson Wentz throwing him the football. Who knows? Maybe this Washington team is gonna be. No, they're not gonna be good. I'm sorry. I was trying to be nice. I don't think it's good.
You were working. You were trying hard, Rico.
I was trying real hard right now. So, which now leaves a void at running back, right? And you guys already know I love talking about the running back. I know my man Rev loves talking about running back. So, what are we doing with this running back position, folks? Are we now continuing the search in free agency for the running back, or should we just call it a day and say, you know what, let's just wait for the draft and we'll find someone in the draft? Let me go to my man Rev. Rev, how you feel about that? I mean, are we good? Are we good with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss and just wait for a draft pick and just call it a day, or do we continue to search and look around?
I think this really puts Plan B into action, for Brandon Beane, because clearly he wanted to add a veteran, right, and a guy in JD Mckissic with his skill set to the offense, and I still believe that he was going to draft another running back, maybe a little bit later in the draft anyway, and maybe move on from Zach Moss. I don't know, but so I think it changed some things up, especially now with the cap kind of like looking kind of wonky. So I think they're going to lean towards the draft. Where in the draft they go, I'm not too sure, but at least you have an idea of now the type that he's looking for. He wants that third down pass catching back, and so he's got his pick of the litter. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely think he's going to look for the draft to fill that need.
I'm 50-50 because I still see some quality backs in free agency that are out there. And if you guys, and this is a great segment because free agency is still killer. Free agency is still something that we need to really. I mean, this is the second wave. The second wave is about to begin. So there's some guys and some good players out there that you can definitely jump in on. So if you don't know who's out there and who's available, there's only one place to go, right? If you guys are living under a rock and you don't realize that the Buffalo Fanatics don't have a GM simulator, it allows you to go to the list. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let Z-Bot, you know what I'm saying, and let his production tell you what's happening. Watch out.
Overdrive.
Shout out to my man Z-Bot that put that together. This boy is a freaking there. Shout out to
apologies to my man V in the comments. We just blew his up with that heat right there. So
what happened? Did I miss something here?
My boy V in the comments, he says my speakers just blew. I said I apologize to him for that heat right there.
All is good. All is good. So Z-Bot, before we move on from the running back position, are you good with Z-Bot? Are you good? I'm Z-Bot. Are you good with Z-Moss? Are you good with Devin Singletary? Wow. Drafted, free agency. What are your thoughts, man?
I like Devin Singletary. I think that he started to really hit some sort of stride towards the end of the year last year. Our current roster is not what you're looking for as far as top tier running back talent. And then again, I don't know if there's that many teams in this league who possess it. And when you got a guy like Josh Allen, it's easy to kind of cover up that blemish, right?
Yep.
When I look at the free agency market that's left, like you said, Rico, I still think that there's a handful of guys out there that I wouldn't mind taking a waiver on. It's not like you got a roster in place right now at the running back position that you feel comfortable just sitting on your hands and letting it play out. You can definitely test out one of these veterans just to see how it amplifies the offense. I wouldn't mind bringing in Fournette or Patterson, Rashad Penny, just somebody to come in, perhaps give this offense a bit of a different look than we've seen over the last couple of years. And maybe that's the thing too, Rico. We don't necessarily know what this offense looks like with a different running back. So it would be interesting to see. But I think at the end of the day, if we go into the draft, I'm not overly confident that they're going to draft some guy who's going to be a significant player at the running back. I just don't see it. So if we do go into the next season and it is Singletary and Moss, it's not like we're going to have the greatest running back, tandem in the league for sure. But I have no problem with Singletary taking the majority of the snaps because I just think that we are significantly better than most teams in other areas on the offense. And look what we did last year with a run game that was nothing to really shake a stick at. So, and it did get better down the stretch, by the way. It did. So we'll see what happens with the offensive line. That's what it all comes down to.
It's like we're connected in a way. It's like we're connected because you talk about the run game and how the run game improved near the end of the year, but there's a reason that the run game improved at the end of the year is because we included a little someone into that.
Why haven't we heard about this someone?
Listen, Ryan Bates is still, we didn't outright say we're bringing you back. We put a tender on him with no compensation involved. So what that means is whoever decides to give him a contract, we have the right to come in and match it, if not do better. So, but the problem is somebody might say, you know what? I'm about to give Ryan Bates a bag right now. And I know that Buffalo doesn't want to match it. And plus they probably don't even have the money because they just spent all this money on these other guys. So we could be without Ryan Bates. It's problematic for me because you don't put somebody in the lineup that made such a huge difference to let somebody scoop him away. You got to be able to scoop him up. Now, I don't know if Ryan Bates is like, hey, y'all going to pay me. Y'all saw the difference I made in that line. Y'all need to do something. So Rev, Ryan Bates, I'm not saying that you'd be okay with it, but are you shedding a tear if some team like New England Patriots takes him away from us and it forces us to go elsewhere? Or do you want him back and try to keep that unity together?
I honestly want Bates back. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought he was the key to me, in my opinion, for this offensive line and the run game resurgence. When you inserted him in there, you saw an uptick in the offensive line performance. And so now you can't just cut him and be like, hey, well, we're good, because there's a lot to be said about continuity, and you have to reward that guy. I mean, you've kept him on the roster for so long and kept him on the back burner, to be like this heir apparent to Mitch Morris or whatever for so long, and then you're just gonna let him go. Like we've already seen what happened with that with Wyatt Teller. I don't necessarily want that to happen again, which is also why I don't want it. I wanted Beane to actually put a higher round tender on him, so that way we can protect him a little bit more. And what's frustrating me is now you've got the Patriots sniffing around. They know our cap situation, right? And so all they have to do is just offer him, more money than we can afford, and he's likely going to take it. But I'm not too sure. But I definitely want Bates back. Insert him in there. Let him compete with Cody Ford. He's not competing with Saffold. That's just not happening. So it's just going to be between him and Ford, and maybe a rookie. I like Bates back.
That's a great analysis and great take, because we let him walk. It could be the Wyatt Teller all over again. Do we want that to happen when we have full control of full control of the situation right now? Yo, cut that shit. Here's the offer. We're going to go from there. But I guess they got to do their due diligence and let him go out there and see who wants to give him money. And it's almost a respect to the player. I'm giving you the respect to go and get your contract. And if you can get that contract and you like it, and you like your destination, so be it. We've allowed you to go there. And that's the respect I think that Beane has gained from these players. And that's the respect that he has for his players, right? Jordan Phillips, go get your money. If you don't get your money, come on back. Jordan Phillips got the bag, right, in Arizona. So he's probably doing the same thing for Bates. And it's a testament, because we've got the gang coming back. Shaq Lawson coming back. Jordan Phillips coming back, right? So this Ryan Bates situation, I'm paying close attention to it. I really would hate him to go, but I feel that he needs to be back with this team. Now, speaking of being back with this team or being somewhere else, Cole Beasley is on. He's been released. And that was Z-Bot's boy. Z-Bot. Talk to me.
How you feeling, bro? How you
Cole
feeling, man?
Beasley. He's gone. He's out of here. He decided to, you know what I'm saying? I want to be traded. What are your thoughts on the release of Cole Beasley?
Well, I had already accepted it weeks ago. As soon as they said that they were going to allow him to seek a trade, I knew he was gone. And then they redid McKenzie's deal. I just had a feeling that kind of double down on the yeah, I could see Rico getting in there. By the way,
let me back up, Steve. I'll give you guys edge. I'll get to the edge. I can catch out of the backfield. I can give you that dynamic. 100%. I'm telling you, man. It won't cost you too much. I mean,
you want to talk about dynamic pass catching ability. You're looking at him up in the top left. I think that they realized last year, unfortunately, and it is unfortunate because similar to John Brown, Cole Beasley was a key part of the uprise of the Bills over the last several seasons. He was our first real big signing right before Stephon Diggs. We got Cole Beasley, and that was big at the time. That was real big at the time. And I liked everything that he brought to the table for us these last several seasons. I mean, for God's sake, he was an all-pro wide receiver last year at the slot position. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But they realized that last year their offense was just as effective the year before, if not more effective, with him not really on the field. Yep. So to me, it was just inevitable. That's the way this business works. He gave us several great seasons, and I think that was a huge part of how the Bills have come to where they are now. But I just think it was very, I don't know what the word to describe it. The relationship with Beasley last year, just in general, just seemed a bit frayed. I don't think that had anything to do with it. And I've seen plenty of people want to make it seem like that was the sole reason he's no longer a Bill. It's not. I just think that they realized that what they're going to be getting out of him on the field going forward is not necessary, and they didn't want to pay for it, and that's the reason he's gone. And I don't think there's anything else to look into there. I will say, however, though, I think that last year things did get a bit dicey with Beasley, and I think it made it a bit easier to let him go. But it's not the reason they let him go. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And Beane even. Oh, go ahead, Rick.
No, go ahead. I will go ahead, Rev.
I was just gonna say like even Beane had mentioned it today in his press conference. He had said something like, there was a little bit of stuff going on with his stance, whatever. But he said that didn't affect the locker room. He said guys in the locker room still backed him. So, but at the end of the day, it was a cap casualty, right? I mean, we had a free cap money, and we're looking at Beasley, and he's getting up in age, and we just had to do it. So that's just a part of the business that it is what it is, And I love Cole Beasley. I love what he brought to this team, and so we just had to say goodbye. And I appreciate everything that he did for the Bills, man, and for Josh Allen's development.
For sure. And I'll give you a bit of whether true or not. I mean, we get so many people that DM us and talk to us about, I've got intel for you. I've got information for you. So information may come out later, or whether true or not, but I really do see this being somewhat truthful, right? So we all know that how Cole Beasley feels about this whole vaccination situation, and how he didn't want any part of it, and even missed the game because of it, and so on and so forth. But a lot of the reasons too is NY has a very strict. I mean, they're very strict on how they deal with. Look at Kyrie Irving can't even play on the freaking Brooklyn Nets right now, but he can be in the stadium. He can breathe the same air as everybody else, but they won't let him play, right? But you got unvaccinated people in the stands. So he's like, yo, NY is just too much for me. And plus, I want my kids to be able to go to school and stuff like that. And they want the kids to be wearing masks in school and so on and so forth. So he's like, you know what? It's just best that I kind of go and do my thing and find somewhere. So look for him to be somewhere where the whole COVID situation may not be the case. May not be as high strung as it is in NY, because I know NY is kind of still dealing with it a little bit, but we're alleviating those things. So maybe it's one of those situations. Now I know Beane was ready to bring him back, but it was just a matter of both of them having to be mutually on the same page, and it didn't happen. So shout out to Cole Beasley. I think we all feel the same way with Cole. I think Cole was great for this team. He's the one that was like, and I used to say that John Brown was the kindling, right? So was Cole Beasley. He was the kindling to the fire. And now we've got a raging freaking fire right now in Josh Allen.
No doubt.
My boy is moving. So shout out to Cole Beasley. Where do you see Cole Beasley going? Where is Cole Beasley going? Is he going to Wisconsin?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
There's potential for sure.
One of my boys is a Packers fan, and he says, "Listen, we don't need any more room for slots. We got Amari Rodgers over there. I think it's Amari Rodgers, and we've got Randall Cobb. So we're good with slots. I mean, but those guys aren't Cole Beasley. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, Randall Cobb can still play. He can still play. He's 31 years old. He can still play. But they don't see him going over there. So could Cole Beasley end up still in the AFC? Could he go to the Patriots?
Oh,
He
man.
could go to Cleveland, perhaps. I mean, if they move off from Landry, I don't know. We could see. I don't know. I don't think it really matters, to be 100% honest with you, though. If I'm speaking frankly, I don't. I do see him go to the NFC, though. I just think that there's desperate need over there for talent. It seems like recently.
So let me ask you guys this: we've had quite a few free agents hit the squad. Which one has been your favorite free agent that's signed with this team, or favorite underrated? I'm saying the one that's going to be more impactful to this team. Rev, who's the one that you and I hope you don't.
Yeah.
I hope you don't decide to take the one I'm going to take. And your face is telling me. So who
probably not Rick. I don't know, man. But for me, right, the obvious choice, right? Oh, Von Miller, right? I love him. For me, though, guys, it's Tim Settle.
Talk to me.
And the reason I say Tim Settle is because I think that his success is gonna have a lot to do with somebody else's success who could be on his way out after next year, and that's Tremaine Edmonds. We've been talking about the importance of getting a solid one-tech defensive tackle on this team. We talked about how Star Lotulelei hasn't been the guy for all of these years, right? Star has not been the guy, and then we've been trying to replace him, right? But now you bring in Tim Settle, and he has that flexibility to be that one tech or three tech. He can push the pocket, he can stop the run, and he's got some ability to rush the passer. You insert him into the defensive line at one tech. Then when you consider the effects of his performance and his play on the line and how it has an effect on Tremaine Edmonds, that is very, very enticing and intriguing, because we've all said, Tremaine Edmonds, the only reason why Tremaine hasn't been what he's been is because, he needs that nose tackle in front of him. Right. If he gets a guy who can two gap, then that's going to leave Tremaine free and he's going to be able to eat. Well, we're going to find out. All right, we're going to find out real quick. But Tim Settle, I've actually wanted Tim Settle for a while, but kind of watched him in the weeds. And I'm like, he's just been buried right now by like 3 or 4 first-round picks on that defensive line. But Tim Settle can play. And so you bring him on the line next to Ed Oliver, right, in a rotation with Daquan Jones, who's a dog too.
Watch out.
That's going to free up Tremaine Edmonds, or at least it should be. So I'm really excited about Tim Settle on this line, but more importantly about what his play how his play can affect the rest of the defense behind him, namely Tremaine Edmonds.
I like that. And that's a great point, because, Tremaine Edmonds had some good success his collegiate years with Tim Settle. Anchoring down and letting Tremaine do what he does and allowed him to be a first-round pick, right? We traded up for Tremaine Edmonds. Don't forget that. Right. So that makes a big difference. So maybe big Tim Settle coming down, anchoring down the line. And we'll see how that plays out for my man Tremaine. Tremaine is in a contract year.
Yeah, exactly.
Prove that he deserves the type of money that this team is gonna be capable to give him. Obviously, the cap's gonna probably going up, so we're gonna have a little bit of money under the cap. So he could earn a big payday, or he can talk himself out of Buffalo if he doesn't get his act together. So we'll see how that plays out. Z-Bot, who has for you has been that one free agent that we brought in that you feel like, this is a difference maker right here?
I'm excited about Shaq Lawson. I have never seen somebody so excited to go play for a team. He leaves, right? And he was talking about joining the Bills mid-season, like at the end of the year last year. He was talking about trying to get back to Buffalo. And in the press conference the other day, it had been mentioned that he watched every single Bills game last year willingly.
That was Jordan Phillips.
Was it Jordan Phillips?
That was Jordan Phillips.
I thought it was Shaq Lawson. Okay.
Yeah,
well, you know what's funny though about those two? Yep. It's like the same thing, right? Like those two, very similar story. Both really wanted to be back in Buffalo, right? Both are back in Buffalo. We're units together. I guess that's why I got that confused, because those two have been going in hand recently in conversations of like bringing back this vintage old school vibe of guys who want to be part of this. I think it brings an energy that you don't see very often. You get guys who were once on a team who leave and they're so desperate to come back. Did you see just the excitement, the overall excitement to be back and a part of this team? So I think that alone, you're particularly with Shaq Lawson, I think that You bring in another presence on the edge. I mean, listen, that it can only go up for the Bills. We all know that the second most important aspect of the game is to have a pass rush. And if we're bringing in guys who are going to be able to accomplish that, I mean, Shaq Lawson, you got to think you're going to get the best out of him this year. How excited is this dude to be back? So maybe we haven't seen it out of him. I mean, for God's sakes, he was with the Jets. Were you really going to see it? Were you really going to see an overwhelming performance? I think we're going to get the best Shaq Lawson we've seen yet. And I'm just excited to know that guy, along with Jordan Phillips, are just over the moon excited to be back. That tells me we're going to get the best version of them we've seen yet.
Especially on a 1-year deal, man, because he's going to want to get paid.
Oh, right, he's definitely. Exactly. I mean, listen, let's talk about it because the last year that Shaq had in Buffalo, he wanted to get paid, and he had his last year at 6.5 sacks. So he knows what the deal is. He knows what's really good. So at the end of the day, we're gonna find out how great this defensive line can be. Dude, there's some depth on this line.
I know, it's nuts.
Yes, I love it.
It's insane to me. So I'm so glad that you guys did not say any of the names that I wanted to bring up. But there's a name that I just don't feel is being talked about enough. And I feel like this name is going to be a difference maker. It's going to change things, how defenses look at this team. And that's OJ Howard. Nobody's talking about OJ Howard, the addition of OJ Howard. So now we went from a predominantly 10 to 11 formation type of team. You know what I'm saying? So now we're going down to 12. So 12 personnel. So right, 2 tight ends. You got Dawson Knox on one side, OJ Howard on another, right? So you got Diggs and Davis. So it's almost, what are you gonna stack the box on us? Or am I gonna split one out? And now you gotta go one-on-one with whoever. OJ Howard, Otarius is his name. I had to get his name down before.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Is that right?
Yeah, man.
Otarius Jabari, right? I thought it was gonna be
wow.
So Otarius, Mr. Otarius Jabari, I feel he's going to be someone that we got to pay attention to. And I'm excited for it, but ain't nobody talking about it because he got, listen, the Von Miller news swallowed up the information coming out of OJ Howard because we saw the OJ Howard news and we're like, oh shit, we got OJ Howard? Oh, that's amazing. But Von Miller though. And then OJ Howard kind of, is swept to the side. Fam, don't sleep on OJ Howard being a very big contributor in this team. And I mean, years back, man, when OJ Howard was coming out of Alabama, I was like, shoot, if we could get OJ Howard on the squad, 4.5 40, can run down. I mean, now we have legitimate 4.5 40 tight ends that you're gonna have to be accountable. You're gonna have to be accountable for. So OJ Howard to this team is I'm not saying he's going to kill it, but it's a name that we should definitely be paying attention to. So I'm excited about Howard signed to this team, which then brings me to another potential topic, and it's Brandon Beane. And I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Z-Bot. Does Brandon Beane, like how amazing has Brandon Beane been for this team since he's arrived to Buffalo? Like, how do you explain it for yourself? Like, how do you look at this?
I don't even know how to explain it. I'm over the moon grateful though. That's for sure. I've been waiting for, I mean, I don't know how many times I say this just when anything good comes up. I'm so not used to anything good happening ever that, when these moves happen, I'm still just in awe. Even though the Bills have come as far as they have, even stuff like we just saw with OJ Howard and Von Miller and the continuous acquisitions, like I still get super, super excited because there's been absolutely no foot off the gas mentality. Like they've gotten to a point that Buffalo would have been satisfied with, right? I mean, think about it. Compared to what it was, where they've gotten to is satisfactory, in all honesty. But they're not treating it like that in the absolute slightest. And you can tell, I mean, this offseason more than ever from Beane, you can tell. Forget taking the foot off the gas. It's being pressed down twice as heavy to get to that championship. So I think we have seen from him time and time again, not only has he made the right moves, but he continues to do so. And I think we're also seeing a different side of him that we have yet to see, and that's the ability to go all in. I think the one thing that people were hesitant about, speaking on Brandon Beane with was his ability to really go all in. and really pursue that championship run. There were people who didn't think he had it in him. I think we just saw it. And I think that when you talk about even in the beginning stages of just this free agency last week, people were ready to say Brandon Beane's not going to do anything. Even myself, just on Monday, I said, I don't see the big move. And we saw several. I have no words to describe how over the moon happy I am that Brandon Beane is our GM.
Listen, I gotta go right to my man Rev, man. Big baller Beane. Before you get into your take, I need to explain to some folks so they realize where Big Baller Beane came from. Big Baller Beane came from when Beane came to Buffalo and he was just going crazy with signing people and cutting people and making moves. And we're like, yo, who is this GM? Because we never had a GM that was ready to do that. I mean, he came to this team and got us out of cap misery, right?
Yeah.
He had to cut the Sammy Watkins, the Ronald Darby's. He had to make some moves, right? So we were like, and then that's when I think around the time where Big Baller brand came out, and we're like, yo, Big Beane's been balling though. Yo, Big Baller Beane is where we're at. And we made the shirt. Yo, that shit came out back in 2018. That's when we brought that up. So for those that have been asking about where does Big Baller Beane come from? You see this?
Well, then
right
Trey White dropped that video too, that hilarious video where he sees him in the dining hall. He's like, Big Baller Beane. It's the funniest thing.
And people don't realize that our IG right now, by the way, if you're following our Instagram is just, I don't know, we are so close to 100,000 followers on Instagram. Go ahead and follow us and get us over there. And a lot of the players follow us. So they see us when we say Big Baller Beane. So that's how they get these, man. So Trey White said, Big Baller Beane. It's BF. So anyways, I wanted to get that. So what does Brandon Beane mean to you, to this team, Rev? Talk to me on that. Big Baller Beane.
Man, it's like refreshing. Because, I mean, I know we've all been fans for a number of years. I've been a fan my entire life. And we've gone through the eras of Tom Donahoe and Buddy Nix and Doug Whaley's and just the incompetence in the front office. And so to finally have a GM who is competent, but not only competent, but has some stones to do whatever it takes to build this team up. And he has vision, guys. Like, he came in and he made no bones about it. He was like, look, he told the vets with Kyle Williams and Lorenzo, he's like, look, we're not tanking this year. We're not doing that. We're gonna do everything we can to still be competitive and win games, but we're gonna make some changes. And then he told ownership that look, hey, we're gonna go through some cap mess right now for a while, but trust me, I've got a plan and we're gonna stick to it. And he's been consistent year in and year out. And he hits this little, it's almost like he enjoys kind of like waiting in the weeds a little bit, like letting everybody do all the talking and stuff. And he just sits back, like when Josh Allen was like, yo, let all them dudes do the dancing and talking. We just going to be working, right? He's like sits back and he just does all the quiet stuff. And then all of a sudden he drops a banger just to remind the entire league of who he is and why they call him Big Baller Beane. I love Brandon Beane. I love him with everything within me. Now, granted, I don't agree with everything he does, but that's okay. That's okay, because the guy is a boss, and he is, hands down, in my opinion, the best GM in the NFL. And
I hit right on that. I hit right on that money. So
yeah.
And I'm gonna say this, and that was a great take, by the way. Pierre, cut that up and post it on Twitter because that was fire. So here's the deal with Big Baller Beane. And what I love about Big Baller Beane is the fact that he takes shit personal and in a good way, right? He sees where we went wrong because he's looking at it like there. So for those that are in management and talking, I always have to draw this diagram for folks, right? And I'm gonna try to show it on screen. So if y'all can see this, I drew a circle, right? You see that dot in the middle? That's us, the fans. We don't see shit. We don't know shit. We're just enjoying life, right? And then you got the head coach, right? He's got to make sure that everything's all good. And then you got Big Baller Beane that sees the big picture. That's Big Baller Beane for you. He sees it. So he's looking at, we're all rah, and we're cheering, and we don't see shit because we're excited, right? But he's working in the back. He's working in the background, saying, okay, what we got to do here? Oh, shit. Patrick Mahomes is killing us right now.
Yes.
And our linemen ain't doing shit. I thought I put together a good line. I thought I could get away with having these old geezers on the side. With, no disrespect. I thought I could get away because Brandon Beane went a little cheap there. He's okay.
Yeah, you went cheap, man.
He went a little cheap. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna give love to Jerry Hughes because he's been the longest tenured Bill. Yeah. I'm gonna let him rock with that money. You can make your $10 million. Mary Addison, we got some history, so I'm gonna bring you on because I mean." You've been showing me a little something, so I'm gonna give you a couple years. Now he's like, damn, that didn't work out. So I gotta change shit up. So I'm okay. Brandon Beane is okay with saying I fucked up. I'm gonna change this shit up. So he's like, I gotta go in or out because this window that everybody's talking about, I gotta make sure that I keep this window ajar and open. So guess what? Von Miller, get your ass back here. You know what I'm saying? I need you here. You were supposed to be a Bill a long time ago, but you know what? We got you this time. Jordan Phillips, get your ass back here. You know what I'm saying? Shaq Lawson, get your ass back here. By the way, shout out to Mookie Hawkins and that crew that broke that news weeks ago, and it finally happened. I know that he was getting jerked around, and when is Shaq Lawson signing? Listen, guys, things happen. But he signed, and give kudos to Mookie Hawkins and his crew that broke that news. But at the end of the day, here's what it comes down to. Brandon Beane took it personal. He took it personal. He saw Pat Mahomes dilly-dallying and scampering all over the freaking field, and I hated every bit of it. That little scamper he has, you guys know what I'm talking about. He has the quick saucy one. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody needs to knock the sauce out of that dude, man. Anyway, so we made sure that we got dudes that are ready to take his ass down and have discipline. You saw the Bengals. The Bengals were all over him. He saw that. He's like, there's no reason why we won't be able to do that. So bring on Von Miller. Bring on Greg Rousseau. That's going to learn a whole lot. Bash him. Yo, listen, this team is going to be hype, man. So Brandon Beane, this guy deserves love that he's getting right now because he's killing it for us. So Mr. Big Baller Beane, that's our dude. Now, Big Baller Beane, he has his head coach in Sean McDermott. Now, Sean McDermott's been getting some criticism here and there. You know what I'm saying? So now you have these guys on the team, right? Chef went out there. He went out there and bought the groceries. Is there a lot of pressure on McDermott? Is there, or is it like, no, it's just like any other time. He's going to be a coach for a long time. Don't even talk about pressure. And Z-Bot, I'm going to start with you. Do you feel this pressure on McDermott, or ain't no pressure on him? He's just going to do what he's supposed to do. He knows what he's supposed to do.
I don't think there's any pressure on Sean McDermott. I think there might be some in the playoffs. That's for sure. I think if you go out and lose to the Chiefs for a third straight time, I mean, you can't. Then you got to start talking. I mean, if we get to the point, right? If we get to the point in the season where the Bills take on the Chiefs in the playoffs, pressure's on for Sean McDermott. You can't strike out. You can't go 0 for 3. But right now, I don't think there's pressure on. Everything's been. And by the way, this got so taken out of context when you and I were on the other night.
What's that?
When we were talking about the whole 13-second thing and how McDermott handled it, everybody's like, "Oh, you want to fire Sean McDermott?"
Oh my gosh!
What video are you watching? Are you out of your mind? I don't want to fire Sean. What do you? And then somebody's like, "Yeah, hire these two." I'm like, "You're gonna have a lot more to worry about than 13 seconds if you hire me as your head coach." Believe me. So just to clear that up, I'm a big Sean McDermott fan. Friendly reminder to everyone out there, by the way, I always try to emphasize this, and this is going to be the one thing that I emphasize heavily before the season starts. The show right before the season starts, this will be my main point of emphasis. You are allowed to love the personnel of the team. You are allowed to love the staff of the team. You are allowed to love the team.
Say it, Z-Bot. Say it.
And you can still have criticisms. That is allowed. I love my mother, right? I love her. But sometimes we get in arguments, right? Love my girlfriend. Sometimes she pisses me off, right?
Yep.
I still love her. I love her to death, right? But there are going to be times, just like in any relationship, where things can get to the point where you got to have an argument, a criticism, etc. That's the same way it is with the Bills. I treat the Bills like I'm in a relationship with them. I know a lot of you do too. I know it's nuts, but that's the best way to describe it, right? So when you do blow a game in 13 seconds, I might have a couple words about it. Doesn't mean I don't love them. I still love them. Believe me. And I still love Sean McDermott.
Yes.
So with that said, I don't think there's pressure on him at all. Look at the body of work. Look at the body of work from Sean McDermott when he's gotten to this team. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's better than any coach in my lifetime, and it's not even remotely close. And I would just say, if we're talking pressure, I will be the first to say the pressure's on if the Bills meet with the Chiefs again in the playoffs. And that was no disrespect to my mother. She knows that we can get in arguments sometimes. She knows I love her, and even I know she is watching. So
Z-Mama.
for those in the comments, love
Yes,
Mama
sir.
Mom.
Yeah.
But that was just my point of emphasis. Who do you love in your life more than your mother? Not many people. But that just goes to show you have that love, right? You're still going to get in a tiff every now and then, and that is okay.
That's okay.
Don't rush to Twitter and tell me that I'd be a better coach than Sean McDermott because I had a criticism. I certainly would not be. And I don't want to fire him because we had an absolute brain fart, for lack of a better term, with 13 seconds left.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I love it.
Z-Bot.
There you go, Bot.
Z-Bot just went up. I got to get
Yes.
Z-Bot.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Rev,
I'm glad you said that.
You're going to have to follow up with that because
Man. Look. Hey.
Well,
Hey,
I just
Bot,
remember I forgot to speak on that because I remember I was scrolling through the comments and I watched the video, then I watched it again and I watched it again. I go, where are they drawing these conclusions from? And then I'm like, I do not want to be known as the guy who thinks McDermott should be out of here because that's the last thing I think.
They hang off of one little thing and all of a sudden you're the worst. I said that in the moment when Nick Wright was like, well, there's not a whole lot of teams that wouldn't trade for Deshaun Watson. I was like, well, right now, Josh is going into his third year. I need to see a lot from Josh. I was his fourth year. I can't remember exactly. I'm like, if it came to me right now, I would trade for Deshaun. Dude, they said, I hate Josh Allen. He's the worst.
I think you were trending worldwide that night. I mean, I think you might have made it. You peaked. That shit was trending nationwide.
Aim for me.
They did.
I like the guy for crying out loud. But anyway, Rev, talk to me, man.
It's look. First of all, I can't follow up, Bot. All right, it's just
no, you got to because I could tell when I was you were like preaching because you were feeling.
Yes,
let's do it, man.
On my mama, Bot was he just laid the fire. Right? Okay, but for real, like I ditto everything Bot just said. But you guys need to listen to this because as Bills fans, look. We love the Buffalo Bills, no doubt, but we have to be able to be objective in our criticism with them, right? We love them. We have to be objective. We can't just start to say, like, if you love the Bills, you can't say anything negative about them. Like the minute you insert an ounce of criticism, it's you guys don't love the Bills. What's wrong with you guys? You don't know. Come on, people, like for real. Let's just be honest. Let's just keep it honest, okay? I don't agree with everything Sean McDermott says or does. I don't agree with everything Leslie Frazier does. I darn sure don't agree with whoever made that decision in the last 13 seconds. I don't agree with everything Brandon Beane does. But do you think for 1 second that I'm going to say, you know what? Cut them all. Let's go back to that purgatory that we were in for 20 years. And let's start this thing all over again because I got a little salty about some things. No, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to be all right. But look, if we get to the playoffs and like Bot said, and we get to the Chiefs and we have some similar snafus, some mismanagement of the clock and some poor decisions, then we're gonna have some questions, and I'm gonna need McDermott to get close to the mic. We're gonna
imagine the same thing again, just the same thing.
Exactly.
Have to get close to the mic.
Now they knew what they were doing. I know it happened twice.
No. We can't have that again, okay?
We definitely.
But for now, look, guys, it's going to be okay. So let's just take a deep breath. We love them. We can criticize them at the same time. They're not going anywhere anytime soon.
You damn right. Well done. Listen, I got to give a shout out to my man, Jeff King, coming in with another super chat. And we appreciate you, Jeff King. And Jeff King knows good talent. And I will tell you something, man. Jeff King said something to me that made me die. And he was talking about comparing Earth, Wind, and Fire to Barry Manilow. And he knows what I'm talking about. And I don't know. I didn't know who the hell Barry Manilow was. I heard about Barry Manilow, but never knew what kind of music Barry Manilow played. And some folks in this, do you guys know who Barry Manilow is?
I'm kind of like you. I know of him. I don't think that's more than
that's
more
about
than
I
that.
know who Earth, Wind, and Fire is, and that shit will get you
baby.
rocking and popping, right?
Right.
No doubt about it.
Right now, we are Earth, Wind, and Fire right now. And,
Hey.
and
Oh, is
my
that
man
what we were
Jeff-
compared to? Oh, see, no, but Jeff's a poet too. See, like you said, Jeff knows what he's talking about.
He definitely does.
Jeff reached out to me after those 13 seconds, and he made. Listen, I mean, it was like being healed from above. He just wrote me the most kind letter.
Let me tell you,
so
man.
he knows what he's doing.
Jeff is that dude. And he comes in with a super chat and says, guys, love the revamped new look Fanatics. And we appreciate you, my man. You guys got great chemistry. Keep up the great show. You guys have my gratitude and support for doing what you do. Let's go, Buffalo. I gotta give some love. That's my guy, Jeff.
King in the house.
Fucking hand clap. I gotta give my man the bell. Hey,
Yes, bring that bell for Jeff King.
By the way, I don't know why I thought it was so funny when Sal just said Rico was talking like a fool. That just had me dying. I have no idea why.
Yo, everyone came for me when I talked about.
Oh my God!
Listen, the same way people came for us when it came to talk about McDermott. Yo, you can't say a single thing about Josh Allen. Not a word. They will. I'll be one of those people talking about they threatened me. They said they would kill me. I got all these threatening letters in my mail. Guys, there will be criticism on every freaking guy on this team. If Von Miller goes 10 games with no damn sacks, we're going to be on his ass.
We're going to be talking about him.
We're going to be talking about him because that's what we don't pay. Listen, the same way we talk about Josh Allen, we didn't pay him $150 million guaranteed to poo-poo the bed. And guess what?
I remember when we said that. I remember when we said he actually had to play up to the contract. Oh my God.
So what I'm talking about. So it's going to be no different with Von Miller. Von Miller, you got $53 guaranteed $1 million. You better show up.
Well, the best part about that, though, Rico, is there's always other people too. It'll be like 2 quarters in, and Von Miller hasn't got a pressure yet, and there'll be 25 people saying that we overpaid. We got to cut him tomorrow too. You got to be in the middle. You got to find the perfect median somewhere.
I'm telling you, man. So actually, we got a super chat coming in from Brian Sprout. Says, "Wow, Rico, bro, is Lil Dirty our slot receiver for week 1?"
I hope so.
That's a great question. Are you guys okay with if we do not touch anything in the draft or any free agents?
Well, no. I can't say that. Hold on. I can't go that far, Rico.
So what are we talking about here?
We're going to touch it, but I'm perfectly okay with seeing Lil Dirty get in there and get some slot work. I think he earned it. I think he proved it in a few games last year, especially when you saw what happened with him and against the Patriots.
Yep.
He brings a different dynamic. And as much as I love Cole Beasley, but as much as I love Cole Beasley, he brings a different dynamic. He allows you to stretch the field, at least get to the second level of a defense in some of those deeper routes. And he's pretty clutch, and he's got the speed. So I think he earned it. And I also don't think that he would have come back if he didn't think that he had, the opportunity before him to actually get that slot work. But I'm not saying don't draft another wide receiver, because as much as I love Lil Dirty and as much as I love Diggs and Davis, we've got Josh Allen on the field. And as long as he's on this team, we need to keep the wide receiver cupboard as full and stocked as possible.
That's facts on top of facts. We're going to move on to another topic here, folks. We've hit some really good topics today, by the way, gentlemen. We've been
How about this free agency period? I mean, what I tweeted earlier. This is the craziest of my lifetime, bar none. I mean, Tom Brady retired and unretired, nobody even cares. That's how crazy this offseason has been.
Right.
You know what I mean?
This is actually pretty crazy. And I even tweeted actually for those that pay attention to the NBA, the Western Conference has been king for the longest time. And it just keeps getting better. The West keeps getting better and better. I mean, when LeBron came over to the West, it was even better because he left the East to come to the West, and we're like, yo, who the hell's in the East, right? So I'm looking at this NFL, and the AFC is tough. So, which brings me to my next topic. How important is this going to be for the Bills to win the division? We cannot lose and not win this division, because we now go into wild card mode. Do you know the teams that we're going to be dealing with in the wild card? Okay. I don't want anything to do with it. We need to make sure that we stay on top of the division. I don't want to call it, is it a failure if we don't win this division this year?
You talking about the conference or the division?
I'm talking about the division.
A failure.
Yeah.
Oh my God, a monumental failure. Are you kidding? It would be catastrophic. You can't even right now. Oh, Rico, that would be so beyond a failure. I can't even begin to put into words.
Listen,
oh my
God. Rev is killing himself.
Look at that division. Look at that division. You mean the next biggest competition is Tua and Mac Jones. They should win that division by 3 games.
Yeah,
guys,
I'm not more.
Fellas,
more.
We barely got away with the division this year. We had to win the last game.
The Patriots have not improved one iota this offseason. They have been poached, and they have not added a soul. They are sniffing the playoffs next year.
Stop right now. See, this is where I'm going to disagree.
Promise it. Really?
Hey, I'm with you, Bot. I'm with you.
I want to hear Rico, though. I want to hear why he thinks Pats are.
So hear me out, because we felt the very same way. We're going up against Tua. We're going up against Zach Wilson. We're going up against freaking Macaroni Jones. We freaking barely got away with the damn division. So we're all of a sudden.
Did you watch that wild card game? Did you tune into that?
I did tune into that, and we really got our shit together. But guess what? We lost against the freaking Jaguars. Right? We lost to some teams we had no business losing. So we can't sit here and
that
say
was a mulligan.
We're about to wax the AFC East, because I thought that we were going to do that this year. And I wouldn't say we struggled, but at one point, fellas, we were a wild card.
No, you're right. You're right.
We were outside looking in. So I don't want to hear shit about we're about to wax this. Gentlemen, let's pump our brakes. No. But I will say,
I can't believe
go ahead, Bot, because I can't see any way. I can't see any way we don't just destroy the division. We don't obliterate the East unless
we should.
No, Rico, I don't see it unless we got injuries out the wazoo. All
right,
there's just I just can't. I can't even.
Well, we got to put him on the spot then. So where do you see the tier 1 through 4, and how big of a difference is it?
On paper, it's Buffalo, and who the fuck cares? That's the way I look at it. But that's how I thought.
I'm talking like when the season ends and I see the division ranking 1 through 4 on record, who's where and what's the difference in record?
Okay, I'll say Bills should be on top.
Yes.
Second place, I'll give it to Belichick and the Patriots. I like what the Jets are doing, though. We got a new head coach over there in McDaniels. I don't know what he's going to bring to the table, so I'll go Bills on top, Patriots second. And then it'll be a battle for the Jets and who really cares, because the AFC.
You got the Jets battling with Miami then, is what you're saying.
They're going to be, those two are going to be battling each other, because we got a new head coach. We don't know what's going on with that. Robert Saleh is a really good head coach. They really brought some good pieces for the Jets. So the Jets are going to be definitely competitive. But we can't sit here, guys. And I'm not even drinking shit. I'm not smoking shit. But we can't sit here and say we're about to wax the AFC East. We'd love to know that we are. But last year, if that didn't give you an indication as to what the heck is going on in this league and how funny this league could be, right? The Patriots just went on a run. And at one point, they were like ready to take the division, for crying out loud. So I'm just saying we should be able to take this, but I'm just being real. And we have to be real with one another, man. We can't just sit here and say, we got this.
You're right. But to answer your question, though, it would be an absolute catastrophic, monumental, seismic failure. To the nth degree.
Huge.
So look, go ahead, Rev.
No, I would rate him. I'm gonna rate him like this. I would put the Bills on top.
Okay.
I think Miami can really sneak in and beat 2. I think Miami and then New England, they may battle it out for 2 or 3, and then you got the Jets. I like. Look, Miami's always had talent. I think they're gonna be a tough out for other guys. They always had the Patriots, number. So that's going to be tough. They've got Jalen Waddle, who I love. I love Waddle. They re-signed Mike Gesicki.
Yeah. Did they re-sign Mike Gesicki?
Yeah, they re-signed Mike Gesicki. The Patriots,
Raheem Mostert.
Yes, and the Patriots lost Damian Williams, who was their starting running back. So
where'd he go?
So I don't know where he went. I just saw that he left. I don't know. And they're going to have Ramondre Stevenson. They'll probably draft another back. But that's all they have. So I like Miami's chances to at least compete, and they always play us kind of a little bit, but I don't know, but I don't see us losing the AFC East. Now show me the schedule, and then I might have I might kind of flip a little bit. I might be like, oh, I don't know, it just depends, because the AFC now outside of the East may be our toughest competition, which may cause us to struggle in the division.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how this season is going to play out. There's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know. There's breaking news happening. Matt Barkley back in Buffalo. He just posted.
That hasn't happened yet. He tweeted 4 hours ago. I don't know what. Okay, I don't know. He's tweeted Buffalo as if that's definitely a possibility, though.
I think he wants to come back. I think that's his pitch to come back.
No doubt. He loved it here. Yeah. No question.
He says the whole gang coming back, which now brings me to the next topic. Yo, I had these things lined the F up, Phil.
I love it.
All these Bills players coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Are you done with it? Are you? Is there a cap where you're like, all right, that's enough?
Keep doing it.
Are you like, bring more of them back? Who else do you want back that's been in a Bills uniform before and you want them back on this team now?
T.O.
We have wearing leads. What are we talking about? Z-Bot, talk to me. Who you want, man?
The climax of all of this is Ryan Fitzpatrick. That is the pinnacle climax of this vintage Buffalo Bills team that Brandon Beane is building. It has to happen. Ryan Fitzpatrick has to retire as a Buffalo Bill. There's no other team in the league he would rather retire with it than the Bills. And if it can't be him, it can be my second favorite Bills quarterback of all time, Andy Dalton. Love Andy Dalton to be the backup of this team. I would love it. By the way, I'm also seeing Robert Woods in here. Yes, that's a possibility, but good God Almighty, what I wouldn't give. That would be nice. To have Robert Woods. You want to talk about filling the slot?
That guy,
I love it. I'm loving it. By the way,
that's my guy. I want Woods. Look, but I'm out on Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love him as a guy, but look, call me superstitious. I don't want him anywhere near the Buffalo Bills, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a curse to the Bills. I don't want him in there. Give me. I would take Andy Dalton over Fitzpatrick. I mean, I love Dalton. I think he can get it done.
You know what? But Andy Dalton would be a solid backup.
He would be a solid backup for the Bills
for sure.
Yes,
no doubt.
I was in on Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor's times for the Giants.
Yeah, me too.
Kudos to Tyrod Taylor. That boy knows where to go and try to take away a position of somebody, right? So he's going to back up.
I love Tyrod.
Me too. I thought Tyrod was going to come to Buffalo. So he's going to the New York Giants to back up Mr. Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
And you know,
he'll be starting snaps to 40.
I was about to say, like, how long are we giving him before he starts?
I say what, week 7?
By the bye week?
How about this, Matt? Ready? Who starts first, Teddy Bridgewater or Tyrod Taylor? That's a good one right there.
You know what? I think McDaniels is going to want to stick to his dude and stick with Tua. I say Tyrod starts first before. Give me Tyrod. Tyrod there.
Yeah.
I'm going Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy.
By a very small margin. Yeah, I'm so out on Tua. It's crazy.
You're not a fan.
I don't hate him. He's not good, Rico. What more do I got to see? He's not good. Look at that division. Look at this conference. I'm sorry. Tua, I loved watching him in Alabama. He threw one of the prettiest balls I've ever seen in Alabama, for sure. You look at this conference right now, Rico. The Jacksonville Jaguars, a dumpster fire. Their quarterback is one of the greatest college prospects of all time. That's how deep the AFC is right now. Tua and Mac Jones and Zach Wilson, it ain't going to get it done. That's why, back to your point, it's insane to even discuss division with all that's going on in the AFC because of how damn bad it is outside of Buffalo. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would praise the day we were in the AFC East. But you look at this conference right now and you look at these divisions, the Bills are blessed beyond belief to be in the AFC East. It is Josh Allen, a monumental Grand Canyon-sized gap, and then probably Mac Jones. And you can debate the other two. I don't care.
All debatable.
I've seen it. I don't think even Miami believes in Tua. We've seen that repeatedly. Now, I understand it'll be different with Flores, but I don't know, man. You, on the other hand, you got some weird thing for him, right? You see it happening at some point.
I think that Tua is not a bad player. I think it sucks because, I mean, look, let's go back to when EJ Manuel was on the squad. When you have a coach that does not believe in you and you're on a tight leash, pressure's on you. Pressure's already on you on top of it. But then you have a coach that's breathing down your neck And Hackett was an awful play caller when he was with Buffalo. And you got Hackett calling plays for you, and you're getting some guy breathing on your neck. He was just waiting. And the minute we went 2-2, I think we played the freaking.
Set him down.
He got pulled for freaking. Who's that bum that slid on 3rd and 1? Who's that bum?
Orton. Was it Kyle Orton?
Yeah. Man. How dare you call Kyle Orton a bum?
Oh, stop! You're not.
No, Kyle, buddy. Kyle Orton is like my 3rd favorite Bill of all time.
No way.
Legend.
Stop it.
That dude was packing handful hammers on the sideline, throwing bombs, dude. Kyle Orton's a legend.
Kyle Orton was a train wreck. I don't know what
you are so off base, man.
We pulled this guy out.
He was a
couch. Literally, this guy was a bum, and it speaks to the volume of what I guess EJ was. If you brought in the bum Kyle Orton, then EJ Manuel was just like, when you don't have a guy that believes in you, it sucks.
I'm taking Kyle Orton every day and twice on Sunday over EJ Manuel. Kyle Orton, dude. At that point, I thought he really was going to be something. When I was a kid, and I was watching him just huck that thing, then go off to the sideline and just pack skull and spit it on. I was like, dude, this could be the future. This could be the future.
He's a hot man. Rev, talk to me. And I want you to take this bet. Who starts first? Who picks to start? Tyrod over Daniel Jones or Bridgewater? Over Tua.
Give me a coin, okay? Because that's you can just toss a coin and it really doesn't matter. I mean, if it really just like this is a we're betting. I'm gonna say Tyrod.
Me too.
I'm gonna say Tyrod just because that McDaniel is gonna have pressure to make sure that Tua is coddled, right? You have to take care of him, make sure that he's protected, he's surrounded with talent. You've got to give him the support that he didn't get from Brian Flores, right? So to speak. And so I think that he's gonna have a longer leash, more of an opportunity to kind of play things out. Whereas you've got a brand new coaching staff, brand new front office. They didn't draft Daniel Jones, so they have no ties to him whatsoever. Now, are they gonna look to him and see what he can do? I think it's gonna be a legit competition in training camp between Tyrod Taylor and Daniel Jones, and I find it very hard to believe that Daniel Jones is gonna be able to out-duel Tyrod Taylor in camp.
Well, they do have a new head coach.
Can you imagine going from the Mercedes to the whatever that is, the smart car out there in New York?
You went from a Mercedes to a hoop to a freaking Chevette. That's what you guys went to. Golly. And for those that also know what a damn Chevette is, look it up.
The only difference is that he's got the keys to drive it now. The Mercedes, he was hanging passenger, but at least he can drive now. I guess that's the whole.
And I hope the Giants are, if Tyrod starts, I hope the Giants are ready for Tyrod not to throw the ball. Because that's
I'll tell you what, Tyrod's deep ball, insanely.
Oh, it's beautiful when he lets it go.
Out there. So, fellas, we need to fill this backup role, and I have a perfect candidate for it. Are you guys ready for it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nate Peterman!
I'm all in.
You want to talk about your quintessential big backup? That would be Nate Peterman. I mean, he'd be backed up.
Listen, for content, if you just think about how amazing it would be, it would just be incredible. Because every week you would have someone. If Allen threw a pick, every time you'd go on Twitter, it'd be Peterman, and I'd live for it. It would be absolutely nonstop fun.
I will say this though. If we're bringing the band back together, my goodness, why wouldn't you bring Nate Peterman back and bring him to the squad? Clearly, I'm kidding, guys. But if
we should have paid Zay Jones. Speaking of which, with that new haircut, we should have given him $20 million like the Jaguars.
Rolling.
What was he doing?
Rolling on a river.
No, boys. What was going on? What is the whole thing there?
What was that on his head? I don't know what that was. Mop or something? I don't know.
He looked like Ike Turner. I don't know what that was.
Yeah,
I don't know if he was ready to. He's ready to. He had Tina Turner in the back of his head.
He looking for Tina.
Listen. I don't know what the hell was on that man's head. That was a mop. I don't know what
that was a mop. Man.
Yeah, man. Bro.
And they bagged him up. I can't get over it. I can't get over it.
Fam, that is not the look, Mr. Zay Jones. I don't know how you gonna be Ike Turner and do the Michael Jackson and walk up. You can't be two characters. I'm sorry. Pick one. Ike Turner or Michael Jackson. You can't be doing the dance and then doing I can't do it. So folks, backup quarterback is still open. I don't know who.
Look down in the comments.
I don't know where we're going with the quarterback position. Mr. Trubisky
killing me.
Position with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's gonna. I'm really hoping that he does well with Pittsburgh. He had some really good things to say about being a backup in Buffalo. He said it was the best thing that's ever happened to him because he's learned a whole lot. So
this
is Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch
Trubisky was praising his time in Buffalo. He says, "Listen, this was a very, very good experience. It was something he needed. I needed this for myself. So he's got an opportunity to go do some big things." I'm
excited for him. I really do think I'm all on that. I am all on that narrative. I think Pittsburgh is a much better team today with him, and they were a playoff team last year. I wouldn't sleep on him at all.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you guys as well. We got a super chat actually that came in from Alexander Lucci. What up, Alexander? He goes, let's see Rev thigh dance. Zach, Rico, can you demonstrate?
Alex knows I am not the one to be demonstrating. The last time I did that, I looked like I was having a stroke.
Alex is a fool, I'll tell you. But I'm gonna say this though, with this team, man, and with how special this team can be. It's something that I'll be looking forward to. Every Sunday is going to be something. And you're like, what star is going to bud? You know what I mean? A budding star. Which one's going to, it's going to be someone's turn, right? So money is an issue right now. The cap, does it exist? I mean, everybody's talking about the cap is a myth. Like Les Snead is like, I told you guys, this cap means nothing. I'm going to spend my money. I'm going to find a way to get it and let's make it happen. And that's what Beane is doing right now. So, but he's fiscally responsible, and that's one thing I do know. But I saw something in the comments. Earlier, and I want your thoughts on this. You guys might shoot this down. I'm low key, not bad. Colin Kaepernick as a backup quarterback in Buffalo.
Oh no.
Rev, are you listen? When I'm looking at you guys are laughing.
We're doing this right now. No way.
You guys are laughing, right? You guys are laughing, but I'm looking at backup quarterback positions that are out.
I just wasn't expecting.
The free agent. I'm going to the free agent pool right this second, so we can see who actually out there is good enough to be a backup quarterback. In
Rico, dude, in a championship run, there's no way you'd want CNN in the locker room every day. That's where I got to stop.
Do you think that's what's going to happen? You think if people
1 trillion%, every single thing he does will be a news story? 100%. Yeah. And for right or wrong, I think the whole guy should be in the league, right? But that ship is sailed. If you're going to bring him in as a backup, man, you are asking for just an absolute distraction unlike any other.
I think people are over it. I really think people are over it. Some people say it's a pure
No, not at all. That's I mean, because he's been out for so long, and then all of a sudden he gets a chance. You bring him back, and now he's a backup, especially in Buffalo. I think bringing him back is gonna. I mean, it'll be like Tim Tebow going to the Jets to be the backup quarterback.
See, I'm all in on that. I'll take Tebow.
In all seriousness, I think it would be a very different situation if you brought Kaepernick to a team that is terrible. Who's got a horrible quarterback right
now? Carolina.
No. Let's go Carolina. You bring the Carolina, then it's a fiasco, right? But you know he's coming to Buffalo. You know he's the backup. There's no question about it, and that's what it is. Nobody's asking for the backup to have a press conference. Ain't nobody. Did you hear anybody talking about Mr. Trubisky? We need you to come sit down and talk about it. Nobody.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that.
Cam Newton's a prime example. He that's why they got rid of him.
Cam was competing. He was competing for the number 1 quarterback spot in New England.
I just got to ask you this point blank. You know damn well Kaepernick's never sniffing the field. How could you possibly? I agree. Listen, that aside, I laughing early. The reason I laughed is I couldn't.
People with me now.
I get it because a lot of people feel like he deserves a crack, and rightfully so, because there's no debating the dude was blackballed from the league. You can't argue against it. It is factual to the point where they had to settle with him. I mean, that's black and white. It's plain and simple. Okay. But to invite that, you know how the world is, Rico. It's all about nonstop. Who's got the story? And that would be a story every day. Everybody would be all over it.
Okay. So then I call bullshit on you, and I call bullshit on you. I call bullshit on both you guys. And I'm going to tell you why I call bullshit on both you guys. We just sat here and praised how great Brandon Beane is. how great he's got this team rolling, how great he's bringing guys in, and so on and so forth. And we have a great head coach. You mean to tell me with the head coach and the GM and the veteran guys that we have on the team, we couldn't control the nonsense that would not happen in Buffalo?
Not a shot in hell.
I think the only way we could control now. Look, from a talent perspective, when you're comparing talent against a lot of the other free agent quarterbacks, absolutely, I think Cap could bring something to the table. But you would almost have to like give him a gag order, like he cannot speak to the media. Media is not invited to speak to him. Like for real, because it would be that big of a distraction. I mean, everybody would be there trying to talk to him. And the minute Josh Allen makes the slightest mistake, everybody's going to be like, yo, could this be the time when Cap finally gets on the field? And that's a huge distraction. I think so, Rick. I do. Now, from like I said, from talent aside, just talent alone. Yes, just from talent. Yeah, he deserves to be in the league. But if we bring him in, there has to be some type of agreement where, like, look, we cannot have the media or have you, talk. We can't have that circus, you know what I'm saying? Like Tebow when he came in and he had that circus. We just can't have that. Right. Now, granted, I do think
it's like a local circus, and Kaepernick would be like Barnum and Bailey compared to what would be going on in the media. It would be huge. Anybody who brought him in, right, Rob? I mean, think about it. Anybody who brings him in, that would be the biggest story in the world that day. If Cap signed with a team, it'd be the biggest story in the world.
Let me see. I'm sticking to my damn guns, all right? Because I'm looking at the free agent quarterbacks positions right now. We got Ryan Fitzpatrick's 39 years of age, right? And we know the curse follows his ass. So some people are in, some people are not. For the nostalgia, sure, let's bring in Cap, right? Let's bring in Fitzpatrick. But we also need, and this is what I'm looking at. We also need someone, like, we can't bring Matt Barkley back. I'm sorry, because if Josh goes down, Matt Barkley he's not even a semblance of what Josh Allen looks like. You need to have something that is close to it, athletic enough that can get out of the pocket if he needs to, throw the ball downfield. That's why we brought in Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky, if Josh goes down, gives you something similar to Josh. Fitzpatrick will not, right? But we love it, but he will not. Let me continue, right? Andy Dalton, 34 years of age, not an old guy, not a young guy. He's in the middle, right? Not the athletic freak that Josh is. Would he be a good backup situation? I agree. He would be, right? Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Jacoby Brissett, Marcus Mariota, which I would love. I would take Marcus Mariota anytime.
Big time.
And then this is where it goes to poo-poo. Blaine Gabbert, Mike Glennon, A.J. McCarron, Geno Smith, Joshua Dobbs, Trevor Siemian. You mean to tell me that Kaepernick is not better than any of these guys? Get the out of here.
Oh, there's no doubt he is.
Come on, son.
And I'm not debating that at all.
Take your feelings out of it. And this is what my problem is. People are too invested in their feelings, you know what I'm saying, to bring on. Now, I do understand the distraction, but you've got to go to a strong enough freaking organization that will stop it. Because if Kaepernick were to sign in New England, nobody would bat an eye because they'd say, Belichick's going to get him under check. It's the Patriot way. Well, guess what? We got a Buffalo way too. You know what I mean? There's no distractions. When's the last time we had a distraction in Buffalo?
Cole Beasley.
Was he that big of a distraction? Did you guys see?
I mean, he's not as big as Cap would.
And that's a good point, by the way.
If you're a level-headed guy, though, right? You're looking at it from being a level-headed person, right? The media and Twitter, that ain't level-headed. So everybody you want to know what everybody I talked to, or at least 90% of them, nobody cared what Cole Beasley's thoughts were on the vaccine. Nobody, you know what I mean? Yep. But you go on Twitter, you would assume everybody in the world cared. So that's the problem. Even though maybe the majority of people wouldn't care, you got to remember that that's not what you're dealing with online ever. You're never dealing with rationality, you know? By the way, hey, rest in peace, John Clayton. Just saw that he passed away. ESPN legend. That's a sad story to hear, man.
Was he ill for a while? Was it like a sudden?
I'm not entirely sure, but that's a bummer to hear.
That is.
He has the most legendary "This Is Sports Center" commercial in the history of time. John Clayton. That's a big loss.
Well, just like that, Z-Bot took the sale out of the show with time.
No sale. Just had to say it because it's crazy to transit. I mean, this combo, I just never expected it to. But I can't believe it though. I can't believe that you would. You're in on that. I wouldn't guess. I wouldn't guess it.
If they said the Bills are looking at Colin Kaepernick, I'd be like, okay, I fuck with that because of what the athletic ability that he would bring to the squad, and he's no scrub.
No, I get that.
His team to the freaking Super Bowl for crying out loud. He ain't no bum. You feel me?
Yeah.
Now, has he had some bad days, some bad weeks, and some bad seasons? And what quarterback hasn't? They've had some quarterbacks that had some bad stretch of games, and it was downhill from there. Now, if that's not going to happen, Cam Newton to me is a perfect fit on this team as a backup quarterback. He's familiar with Ken Dorsey, right? He's giving you the same physical traits that Josh Allen, and I don't think that he'd be an issue on this team in terms of being a distraction like most people would think. Cam Newton, in or out?
Big time out.
I would have to say out. Just from his arm. Yeah, yeah. He didn't show me enough in New England, and even when he went to Carolina, that he was, anywhere close to how he was. And so, yeah, you get that running ability, but let's not forget that Sean McDermott is trying to put a muzzle on that. He wants to protect Josh Allen right now. He doesn't want him running around and for 700 yards rushing this year. So even if you bring a quarterback who has that ability, he's not going to want that to happen. So at the end of the day, it's going to be about, hey, can you deliver the ball in the pocket to these guys, to these receivers? And that's who I'm looking for. And here's the guy. What do you guys think about Jameis Winston?
I would take Jameis as a backup for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking
at that comment right there. Backup definitely matters, by the way. If Josh Allen went down last week, I loved bringing in Trubisky so much because I felt if Allen went down, there's no other backup in the league who has similar traits to Allen like Trubisky did, in my opinion. That's why I was excited to see him get a starting job because I felt like he deserved it. Last year, Trubisky was easily one of, if not the best backups in the spot. So I think it does matter. The way Allen plays, he does put himself out there for higher risk of injury. I think it matters on this team for sure. So like Rev, to your point, Jameis Winston, that's a guy who can come in and start right away if he were to go down. But I think that he probably thinks he's still a starter, and somebody's probably going to be willing to do it, right?
Well, I mean, who else is out there?
Apparently, Bobby wants Barkley. Aren't you done with that?
I'm done with that.
I don't want. I mean, no,
for sure.
No.
And here's the thing. This is the thing. People are Jameis Winston is trash. Nobody's feeling it. Well, I can't say nobody's feeling it. Jameis Winston re-signed with the Saints. Oh, he did?
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that.
No kidding. Well, that makes sense.
Well, there you go.
Lying, man. You don't see these things. So
he'll probably start right now. Let's make a move. You know what I mean? He'd be the star.
Which brings me back to, like, everybody's on a different wavelength. You got Bobby talking about bringing back Barkley. I don't know what Bobby's smoking right now. You talking about me smoking something? I'm upstream with a rowboat. You're right beside me with your ass.
Rico, what about the factor, though? What about the fact that all the media aside and the fact that it would just be a gigantic story? I mean, huge. All of that aside, though, Kaepernick hasn't played a competitive. He hasn't been in a competitive setting in 5 years. In football life, that's like 2 decades. That is a ton. Like even Deshaun Watson, people are worried about whether he's going to have what he had taking a year off. Imagine 5. That's a long time.
It is a long time. Don't get me wrong. It's a long time, but I mean, listen, when it's like riding a bike, man. When you play football, man, like you just get right back into it and you're good. You know what I'm saying? So I can't see there being an issue with a guy like Kaepernick coming in. But some people have it. They look at it differently. They see the drama. I put the drama aside and I look at the physical, the ability to play the football. But I mean, everything comes together, right? You got to
take the whole package.
You got to take the whole package. I totally get. My man Pierre the Kingpin says, "Yo, Jacoby Brissett would be my number one option if price is right."
I didn't know about Jameis Winston, but so Brissett was my other guy. Brissett, I would take him right now,
no doubt,
easily.
To me, because I did this before. It was going to be Fitzy. I wanted Fitzy because of the nostalgia. He comes back and he'd be. Same. I mean, he just happens to be. I mean, he's just Fitzy, right? Tyrod Taylor, but he got scooped up real quick. And then Marcus Mariota was going to be my next. But Marcus Mariota already was in a backup role. Is he ready to accept being a backup going forward? Because that's going to be a second stint if he takes another backup role. Jacoby Brissett as well. I feel like he has gotten a raw deal. I feel he's got a raw deal. He was doing decent for the Colts first year. I think he did 1 year with the Colts, and then Phillip Rivers comes in and bounces him out. I was like, oh, come on, man. So Brissett has had a rough go. But nonetheless, this quarterback position is going to be interesting to see who we back it up with, who we fill it in. Some people just don't give a damn. It's Josh Allen. He ain't going to get hurt. He's this, down the third. Guess what? Shit happens, right? We don't want it to happen. Knock on wood. But we got to find him a backup. God damn it. So, and some people might be saying, yo, just draft a quarterback and call it a day. Do we bring back Jake Fromm? He got cut, right? So we drafted the man. Do we bring in Jake Fromm back? So there's a whole whack of things that we could talk about. But folks, we've been going almost 2 damn hours, folks. We're almost going 2 hours, and we still got 350 people watching.
Here we go. Shout out, fanatics.
So the last on my topic of conversation is Star Lotulelei. So Star gets cut. We got a dead cap of 7.7 mil, 7.8 mil, and we saved $1.5 million. Are you sad to see Star Lotulelei go?
No.
It's a resounding no.
No, not at all. Not. I mean, we all knew, like, our Star came in here, he had a job. He I mean, how well did he do it? You know what I'm saying? And the contract was crazy. That was a classic overpay for that guy, right? We had to overpay for him. The team was trash at the time. We had to overpay.
What a terrible contract, man.
Ugh. Horrible contract. And see, that goes back to whole. I love Beane, but sometimes you just. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But we needed to do that at that time. I'm glad we got out from underneath that guy in that contract. No diss to Star. I just think that it was the writing was on the wall, right? And for me, when the year before last, actually, now when he opted out, and then he came back and then he caught COVID, and I was like, you know what? I think that this guy is going to be
with the Redskins. I mean, assuming the Commanders.
Oh,
go ahead. Keep going.
So I think I thought like he was going to be a candidate to retire, in my opinion. I was actually thinking that he was going to be gone, like a post June 1st release. But the fact that they got rid of him and they can get out from underneath that contract right now, I'm good with it. We've got big boys in the middle, Daquan Jones, Tim Settle, and we got Phillips back in here, so I'm good. I'm not going to lose any sleep.
Well, we got a question from my man Bobby Ray. By the way, for folks that are wondering who runs our wonderful Instagram page, that is this beautiful human on the bottom of the screen. That is our guy Bobby. Bobby out here he's the content king. If you don't know who the content king is, that's my guy, Bobby. That boy runs this page like you wouldn't believe right now. We are at 95,700 freaking followers on Instagram, and my man is killing it.
Shout out, Bobby.
Shout out to my man, Bobby. He comes in and says, hey, is Jordan Phillips really better than Star Lotulelei? I don't know, man. Would have been cheaper to keep her.
They play different positions. He's a fool.
Yeah. You're right.
They play different positions. Yeah. We know, like, Phillips he's a 3-tech. He's a big 3-tech, right? But Star, it was that 1-tech, and that was never Phillips's thing. Like, he wasn't going to sit there and just body dudes up and just hold them up at the point of the attack. And I mean, he was a pass rushing guy who was 6'6", through 330, 340, something huge. So they play different positions. Now, if you want to compare Star to Tim Settle, Star to Daquan Jones,
forget about it.
There's no competition.
That's right. No competition.
Yeah. Sorry, Bobby.
Great. Sorry. Thank you for the question there, Bobby. Long time watcher, first time listener. You know that chatter that goes on. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, we've been rocking for 2 hours now. This is great. The other day I went freaking live. I didn't realize I went for almost 3 freaking hours.
Dude, you pulled off a James Cameron film. That was crazy.
Lee, and I had no clips. I just went freaking raw, like in that. But yeah, I mean, that was fun. It was good times. But fellas, I mean, we got last words. Any last words for just Bills fans? Last words from you with what this team looks like, what this team has in store for Bills fans altogether. Your thoughts on what we've done in free agency so far, and if we feel there's another wave of free agency and where we think we should go. What are you guys looking at? Do you feel like we need one more piece, 2 more pieces? Anybody in particular? I'll start with you, Rev. What do you got?
Yo, I'm definitely excited about the direction of the Buffalo Bills now. But I mean, to answer your question about what I think that we should add going forward, I think in the second wave, I look out for cornerback. There's no way Beane is going into this draft with just Tre'Davious White and Dane Jackson and whomever else, right? He's gonna try to add somebody. I don't necessarily know the tier is gonna be, but he's gonna add another guy for competition, and then he's gonna draft somebody else. So look out for cornerback, running back, maybe a receiver. You know, he has to be a low tier receiver guy, but I'm looking at cornerback is got to be the top position right now on his radar going forward into the draft.
I like that. Z-Bot, what do you got, buddy?
I totally agree with Rev. Cornerback is huge. Really wonder what the story was with Levi Wallace. He went to Pitt for a bag of Fritos. I mean, I don't know why that wasn't matched. Really wondering what happened there. I just was crazy and there's two conclusions. One, the Bills just didn't want him for whatever reason, or vice versa. Two, Brandon Beane clearly has a plan at cornerback to have allowed Levi to walk without matching that cheap contract. So I think there's got to be a plan in place. I'm all in on getting another receiver. I think that's huge. And if it were up to me as a Penn State fan, Dotson at 25 would be a dream come true. That guy is an unbelievable wide receiver on a really weak Penn State offense with a very weak quarterback. He was by far the shining light on that team. And if you haven't watched any of his highlights, do it. If we could get him at 25, that would be awesome. I think if we're looking at the rest of free agency here, I don't know. I mean, they've done so much already. I would definitely like to see maybe going after a veteran running back, maybe looking at the wide receiver position, but I think that's going to be addressed in the draft. But overall thoughts, Rico, so far, I have never felt in my life as a Bills fan that the team has been so all in to win a Super Bowl than I do right now. I have never been more confident in the Buffalo Bills having a legitimate chance to get it done. I felt that way last year.
Yeah.
And with the improvements made this year, with the sheer, I mean, the way it's so noticeable what Beane's doing to make this run. The one word I can describe the whole offseason so far, it's just confidence. I am so confident right now. It's got me so excited for the season. I just feel that the moves that have been made are really, really putting me in a spot as a fan to be a firm believer that this team is in the best position to win a Super Bowl that it's been in my entire life.
Yeah, no doubt.
You feel good. You feel good. It feels good.
Great. Right. I mean, the crazy thing is, Rico, you look at here's the biggest testament to that. You look at all this craziness going on in the AFC and how good everybody is getting. And have you been scared? I mean, yeah, you look at it and you're like, damn, what a move. Davante Adams to the Raiders, Russell Wilson to the Broncos, Khalil Mack to the Chargers, you name it, it's happening.
Yeah.
Have you felt scared though? I haven't. And I think that is a major testament to what we got as a squad in Buffalo.
That's a big point because I sit like it. I'm more like, okay, bring it. All right. I see what you guys are doing. You guys are trying to come and you ruin our party right now. But you know what? It's going to make it that much sweeter when we come on top and win this freaking Super Bowl. And we can sit here and be like, yo, you guys tried to ruin this, but you can't ruin destiny, man. It's meant to happen. My man, Pierre the Kingpin comes in and says, hey, my question is, how will Beane replace the loss of JD Mckissic? He clearly wants a certain style of back. Does he find a bargain binner? Well, I mean, I'm looking at, you could look at all the running backs that are available, and there's quite a few. I think I'm all in on the draft, on drafting some running backs. I mean, there's only like one or two that I like in free agency. Leonard Fournette being one of them. I'm a fan of Leonard Fournette.
Me too.
Raheem Mostert was one guy that I really wanted. I was like, okay, we could get Raheem because I know he's coming off injury, but I think it would have been nice. Marlon Mack is one, but I mean, the injuries with him is just they've mounted up. There's quite a bit of injuries with him, so you just don't know. You want a back that is actually durable and you can keep him around, but you can get him on a cheap deal. So maybe that can work out. But right now, there's not a whole lot of guys that I like personally, and I pay attention to the running back position very well. But I pay attention more in the draft. So that's a great question from my man P Money. I'm all in, man. Z-Bot. I got my guy Bobby. He put me all in on Max Borgi. Max
he's nice.
Tell me about it.
Max Borgi, man. If you haven't, and I said it last week, I think I said on my Friday show, or my Tuesday show. If you haven't paid attention to Max Borgi, fam, go look at the film on Max Borgi. Quick, can catch out of the backfield, is not afraid of contact, and he's a white freaking lightning bolt of hype.
Yeah, man.
He's nice. Chris McCaffrey, for crying out loud.
Right.
I'm a fan.
I gotta look this up. No kidding. I love it.
Dude, look, Z-Bot, you look up Max Borgi, you're gonna be like, I'm in. I'm sold. I'm sold.
And he's met with the Bills before too.
He's met with the Bills. Another running back that's met with the Bills that I had to look up, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I'm in love. Other than Breece Hall, hasn't met with the Bills, but Rashad.
Yeah, you're gonna fall in love with him, but
Rashad White. You go look up Rashad White. Woo! Listen, man, the Bills are looking at a running back that can do it all.
Do you want to go running back then in round 1 then? Is that what you want? Is that what you boys want? Or what are you thinking?
You trying to create a fight?
I don't know. Rico, you know me in the draft. I got 3 words. I don't care. Leave it to the higher ups.
Rev knows what I'm talking about.
We've been there before, man. Yeah, we've been there before.
Listen, to me, and I think we all agree on this. BPA, best player available. If the running back, if you have a big board of 25, right? I'm just using 25, and your running back is ranked 15th, and the next best guy is at 27.
Yep.
You're not going to go to the 27th guy. You're going to go to the 50th. Next best guy. If it happens to be running back, so be it. These crybabies out there talking about you can't take a running back in the first round. Yo, it's BPA. Shut your ass up. It's BPA, and that's what it is. But cornerback is the glaring need. So cornerback is what we do. We need to go for. But I don't want a cornerback that you draft in the first round and you're going to have him compete with Dane Jackson. No, thank you. I'm not interested. You're going to grab a cornerback. He has to be the number 1 guy. He has to take that position.
Yeah.
When Trey White is ready, then it's them two together. And Dane Jackson, sorry, buddy, where we are. But if you don't feel confident in any of the corners that are presenting themselves in the first round, then Dane Jackson has a chance to compete with whoever we draft in the second or third round. We'll see how that plays out. But I don't want to get too much into draft yet. You know what I'm saying? We're still in free agency period. And we are 2 hours in this bitch. And I think we've given the people a good
was a hell of a 2 hours.
You mother ever
damn thing we didn't touch.
Hey, we did it. We did it, guys. Hey, and before we leave, I'm just gonna throw this out there.
Yo.
James Bradbury.
Yes.
Trade.
My answer is yes.
Come on now.
You gotta keep going now.
Bro, like if Brandon Beane has this rabbit in the hat for a trade for James Bradbury, oh my God. Look, this would mark it down as the best free agency in this
that would be great.
That would do owe us one too, Rev. We've literally given them the world. So yeah, I think you're right.
Man, bring him on right now. And look, guys, I'm just like, give me the championship right now. Let's go for it.
You would have to give something. I'm sure they want what do they want? Picks? I don't know if they're rebuilding per se, but you got to give them something.
Picks, maybe player, maybe package somebody. I don't care. But if there's got to be a plan.
Yo, give him a 2024 freaking 4th round pick or 5th round pick.
I'll do whatever. I'll do
whatever it is. But I like that a lot.
And then take running back in round 1.
Well, I like that a lot, man. So listen, folks, that was a hell of a show. We got a super chat coming in. We got a super chat. Carl Tolman comes in and says, hey, the defense is now solid, and I'm excited to see the play. We got much bigger. We still have needs in the draft: RB, receiver, cornerback, punter, absolutely, and offensive line depth. There's a whole lot of things we can hit. To me, it's cornerback, and then it's running back, O-line. Whichever one comes first, whichever one's the best situation for us. But I think we had a hell of a show today, folks. Bobby comes in and says Bradbury is a lot of money.
Doesn't exist, right? That's what we came to the conclusion. None of this exists.
It doesn't exist.
I did one of these earlier, right? Just do that, whatever.
Let's let it fly, man. Comes in and says Rico Z-Bot. Let's go. And listen, man, my man Rev came in and handled business on the bottom, boy. Listen.
Hey, this is my first time chopping it up with Rev on the Fanatics, and dude, if you're not watching Rev, like fresh off the or fresh into the Fanatics, man, get on that, Rev. Dude,
appreciate
I mean,
that's
love,
dude.
Yeah, I mean, Fanatics right here, man.
Yes, sir.
Listen,
loving it. I'm just loving it, man. It's getting me juice.
We don't rebuild, we retool, baby.
There we go.
We retool, baby. Jeff King comes in and says, I have not felt this confident in years about this team. By the way, I think that's what he's saying, by the way, or he's saying, but the genuine enthusiasm, see, I try to get too extra there. But the genuine enthusiasm coming from players wanting to be here and who believe in what we are going to be doing here, it's got me stoked. Oh, yeah. Yo, you said it, man. You said
perfectly
that.
Put. Like what I was talking about earlier with Shaq and Jordan Phillips, like that Jeff put that perfectly. Like, as a fan, like that is the best thing you could possibly see. Just guys dying to be a part of this, and not to mention Von Miller. Like me and Rev were saying earlier, like you just can't fathom that was his choice. And
Right.
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Heck yeah, man. Steven Print Up says, yo, watching the show in the app is great. What? Let's go. Except I can't text at the same time. Had to log into my computer. Boo! You know what? That's still love.
No time for texting, man. You're playing GM, baby. There's no time for that BS.
That's what I'm talking about. But we'll try to find a way to kind of fix that bug where you can do both at the same time. But we appreciate you. If you guys have not downloaded the app, go ahead and download that up. It's the BF Network. You listen, we're going to be able to do, and some once the draft starts coming around, we're going to start doing these live, right? Live on screen, and we'll start kind of messing around and seeing what we can do and make this fun for everyone. So, folks, before we get out of here, big shout out to each and every one of you that's been tuned in and rocking with us this whole time, man. It's been great. My man, Z-Bot, what do we have coming next up for you, friend? Talk to the people. What's up next? What's happening?
Well, Monday night, you can catch me smoke break. That's where I'll be this coming Monday. Hopefully we got some, I mean, I don't even need to say hopefully at this point. Every damn day is just a bombshell from the league. So Monday there'll be something, and then me and Rico are working on a little something spicy and special for y'all coming around the corner too. So look out for that. That's gonna be fun. But other than that, man, I mean, just like the rest of you, kicking back and watching the show that is this offseason, basking it, folks, because I'm telling you, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime offseason. Just the storylines, they continue to compound. It's been incredible. I mean, football's over, like we were talking about several times throughout different shows, like this dark period without football. This has been an absolute B12 shot to the thigh. This love it. Going on, man.
Yes, sir. Rev, what do we got coming up? Tell the people where they can find you, on Twitter, all that stuff, and what's coming up next for my man Rev.
Yo, all right, fanatics, check it out. So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Rev Rhodes, You can see it right there.
Hey,
right. And
that's impressive, by the way. I always do the opposite because
right. I'm like, wait. No, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
There it is. All right. So, and also, guys, check me out. Rated Rev podcast coming out on every Monday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And I've got something coming on, guys. Hey, matter of fact, do me a favor, guys. And let me say this real quickly. I want you guys to email me at the Rated Rev fanbox at gmail.com, because what I'm doing for Monday is I want to hear from all the fanatics. Okay. I want to hear your takes. I want to hear your comments, your opinions, and I'm going to talk about them on the show on Monday. So get that to me.
What's the email again? Say the email again.
Yo, the Rated Rev fanbox at gmail.com.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to type it in right now. At Gmail?
At Gmail.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody else that uses Hotmail anymore. If you've used Hotmail, shame on you. You my mother. You know what I'm saying? So my mom still uses that. It's the Rated Rev fanbox at gmail.com. Send your questions, concern, your hate for me and Deshaun Watson love. Send your hate towards my man Z-Bot. Send your hate or your love. Do whatever it is. I hope I got that email.
Email Rev and tell him how much I would be a better coach than Sean McDermott. He'd love to hear from you.
Oh man, yeah. I'll definitely talk about it.
Yeah, he'd love that.
Absolutely, folks. Well, listen, you got my boys. So my man Rev is gonna have his show on Monday. So it gives you guys an opportunity to catch up on some football stuff, and my man's gonna be coming up some stuff, and then I'll be back at it again on Tuesday, and then we're gonna work on some things with my man Z-Bot. We got some little something spicy me sabala, but we working on something, folks. So if you guys don't know, now you know. You don't even know, because that's what the beat is on the rack. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time for you guys to shut down, go to bed, have some good content in your soul, and then we can talk shit about us tomorrow and say, Rico wanted Kaepernick on the team. Yes, I did. Now stand up. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we will catch you on the flip side. And until next time, it's your boy Rico. It's your boy Z-Bot. It's your boy Rev. And it's the Buffalo Fanatics. It's the Pod Squad. And we out. You guys enjoy your weekend. Let's go.
Peace.